Welcome, agents, to Strain 99-AFT of the 0 Point Report, the number one broadcast all about the news surrounding the Secret World IP. Today is Thursday, January 16th, 2025. And with me tonight, we have Two-Ton Waffle. Okay. And Jimmy the Rabbit.
Heyo.
Hey. Waffle is mute.
Morning.
Today. Oh, there it is. There it is.
It's a little delayed.
Good morning. Good morning to you, sir. Hope you're
I
doing
thought I was
all
just
right.
going with the silent shtick.
And I'm Ocho, and welcome to the 0 Point Report. How are you guys doing? Hey, Palmer.
It's
You're
chilly.
still giant and tiny. That is what she
Yep.
said, and she was very confused.
Mm-hmm.
But you could be giant and tiny.
Yeah. I mean,
Very
frankly,
out of
that's a bit
proportion.
disappointing. Anyways, I'm doing fucking awful, Bob. Thanks for asking.
Hey there, Bob.
You're cold. That is how you are. It is very cold right now. Yeah, we're getting it's a little cold here in the Northeast,
Huh?
It is
What
cold
is
as fuck.
and also all across the
Yeah.
country too, not just the Northeast. Yeah.
Yeah, it's only 53 right now.
Oh,
I don't know what it is,
It is
right
cold.
now, but I know that for some reason they still made my kid go to the bus stop when it was fucking 5 outside.
It builds
You're not
character.
supposed to do? Well, it was 5, feels like -7.
Eh,
I would
So,
say
you
I
know.
heard it's getting down out there. It's all right here.
I had actually used my
it's
snowblower today,
ooh,
which I don't, get to use all that often. But,
good times.
yeah. Not super fun. Not super fun. It is not power assisted.
No,
You know how like some lawnmowers like it
gotta
turns
shove
the
it.
blades and like the back
Shove
wheel or
it.
something?
Mm-hmm.
Right. The snowblower like turns the thing, but it does
Mhm.
not provide for momentum. That's all me. And it's not fun.
do you even snowblow, bro?
Snowblow your mom last night.
Oh,
Oh,
got him. So we
Now
haven't had that much.
Bauer said same here for my snowblower. Your mom gets around.
Be like, mine did too.
I knew that would. I knew Bauer would have a reaction to that.
Not that. Gosh.
Your
No,
mama was a snowblower.
I would say that. Yeah, we're used to the cold. It's not. It's been pretty. It's just been okay here. It hasn't been like terrible. I'd say that this weekend though is Polar Bear Plunge, so we're gearing up for that.
You just go in my backyard. I have a smaller dog, and now when I let him to go outside in the side yard, like to go to the bathroom, like the snow is like hits like he doesn't have to sit down. Like he's chest deep in the snow, just standing there.
He's like, it'll melt it. It's fine. Say no, we jump in the ocean. Of course, I don't jump anymore. I did it a couple times, but I'm not. I don't jump anymore.
what do? You just like
gently
I just
slide in.
I just crawl.
It would be
inch by
actually.
inch.
It's probably like way more messed up if you just like slowly slide in. I feel like that would be way worse. No? Like the polar bear like plunge like is shocking because you like drop in, right? But I imagine purposely continuing to insert yourself into it like a couple inches at a time feels like that would be horrifying.
It'd probably be a lot worse for your body overall. It sounds dangerous jumping into frigid waters. The thing is that it's actually not so bad, considering that usually the water temperature is still warmer than the air temperature. So when you jump in, you go, oh, this isn't so bad. It's actually nicer in here than it is out there. And then like 5-10 seconds later, you go, wait a minute. No, this is not good. This is not good either way. And then you get back out. And then the rest of the day, and then the warming up process of your body is like, it's like your body runs a marathon because you're just tired for like the next 3 days afterwards.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah. I mean, there's usually also alcohol involved too. I mean, let's not go,
I'm there.
Let's be realistic. It's not just about the physical experience.
As long as I can jump in while holding the drink, I'm totally down.
Will they let you do that? That's a good question. Probably not, actually.
Like I was gonna ask for permission.
I mean, they
Someone
do.
else is like, I'm gonna do that. You can't do that. Aw, but that other guy did it.
Yeah, but he's doing it. Fine, I'm just gonna jump in over here.
Well, if Billy jumped in the lake, would you?
Yes. Next question.
Like, yeah. Like, yeah, I'm gonna follow Billy. Of course I am.
Would
you
you
get
go off
stepped
the
on?
cliff?
Oh.
We're going cliff diving tomorrow. What are you talking about?
No, it's a good event. Night before, there's like a beef and beer fundraiser. Everyone gets a little lit. Then the next day, also drinking in the morning. Then jumping in. Then having like a catered lunch afterwards. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's a fun day.
I had a lot of fun doing the margarita marathon 5K when I did that. That was literally just go there, drink a shit ton of margaritas, do the 5K, and then
run a
drink some more
5K.
margaritas.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, I have found my place to run. Waffle, this is the board I was talking about, by the way.
Oh, okay.
This thing
Yeah,
right here.
it's the same one that's on the outside of the entrance as well.
There's a couple. There's 2 different boards.
Oh, okay.
This one might be a social one too. I don't know. No, this is the group one.
That's
That
the
one
group.
right there specifically is the social one.
Ah,
They look similar, but yeah, you can
They're
just
different.
put in the thing there, and then when other people look at this, it'll show. As long as you're logged in, it'll show the thing.
the thing.
Yeah, your post.
You're
Your
like
thing.
advertisement.
And your post. It'll show your weighing on the board.
What? Well, that's
there's
not
one for
very.
groups. This
family
one is
friendly.
for social. And then what's the one
I
back
kind
here?
of forgot about it, so I've started like when I'm streaming now, like I'll go and put like live at whatever, and also it saves the last one you did will always be there. So if you do it once, like come back a few weeks later, a month, whatever, like you can click it and then just redo the last one you did.
Interesting.
But it only stays on there while you're logged in.
Okay.
So it's like a live activity board.
Sort of like to show what people are up to in the game.
Yeah, I don't know
Or
how many people know that it's
looking
there.
looking for groups or looking for whatever.
Yeah, like if you click like sign up on it, you can pick like trade, cabal, dungeons. Like you could put trade posts on here. You could put like theoretically lair on here or something. I remember usually back in the day, I would see cabal shit, recruiting or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But you can just click social and post your message. And then if you like log out, let's say we do a show like next month or something,
Mm-hmm.
like when you click sign up, it'll have your last one already there. You don't have to like type it again.
Select difficulty.
You don't have to
Swipe
do
if
that for a social one. I don't think you can actually.
Preferred role. All 3.
Healer.
All this social activity is nightmare difficulty.
It's a nightmare.
Too far.
Well, I don't normally see stuff in here, but
I don't think a whole bunch of people.
Occasionally, I'll see something, but again, you'll only ever see it if the person's actually logged in. So, and they have to remember to come do it when they log in.
I would say, and people have to know about it in the first place too.
Yeah.
which I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
a lot of people
I've
just
been- by the
run
way-
right by it.
As a topic of discussion, like I've seen a lot of fucking new players. Like a
Yeah,
sizable amount of like level 2s and 4s and shit like running around. Like different ones. I'm not sure exactly if the influx is just normal, whatever, but like or if there was some kind of inciting event. But I've been seeing a pretty large number of like new people coming through. And what I was
Interesting.
thinking is like a new person's actually running around and clicking on shit, right? Because you're like, I don't know what this is. Let me click on it. So I'm less putting stuff on there for like the regulars as much as it is like new people exploring the game might go like, oh, there's something going on.
yeah.
What's this?
What's this?
What's this? What's this? And this?
As long as they don't go like, they see the board outside that has all the missions on it and just think, oh, these are the same things. Like it's just the same boards, just in different locations.
I mean, they're
'Cause it's not.
visually different a little bit. Like they're colored different.
Yeah, a
There's
little
like
color
a green,
difference.
a red, and I think this one's yellow. Yeah, this one's like a yellow. But also, if you like go with up to your reticle, they actually say like which activity they are. If you
Mm-hmm.
pay attention to that, I suppose. So there's group, there's Paragon, and there's social. And then is this one back here different, or is this? These might just be duplicates.
They are duplicates, yeah.
These are duplicates. Yeah, it's just the red and the green.
But is the
there's only
social one
one-
out here too? So there's a green one.
I
No,
don't-
green and red. Social's not
think
outside here.
The social is only in the one spot, maybe? There's really only one
Yeah.
social.
There's two of each. Bomber says there's two of each.
Well, there's two
Where's
of
the
each
other one?
of the red and green. I don't know about the yellow. Don't see it. Ah, it's in here by the dance floor.
Ah, I'm turning around.
And yeah, your post goes to both of them. It's like you have to do it each one or anything. But yeah, it's by the dance floor.
Oh
Dun,
yeah,
dun,
there it
dun,
is.
dun. We jamming. Doo-doo. Doo-doo. Waffle's not jamming. He decided.
I
doesn't
was
like
jamming. Would you guys? What? I was too cool for you, so you had to go do your own jam.
Jamming on the dance floor.
Fine, I'll walk over there. Our RP walk over.
That's like the spite walk.
Fine. Oh Lord, he coming.
That's what she said, I guess.
Got DJ Ephemeral over there.
Oh, Waffle here. It's not cool now. I'm leaving.
Fine, I'm gonna go home.
Just kidding. I'm just kidding, Waffle.
Yeah, but you know
Gotta
what?
give him
Everybody
something for
loves
the day.
waffles.
Waffle, waffle, waffle. Waffle, waffle, waffle.
So
Waffle,
welcome.
waffle, waffle.
Welcome if you're tuning in. How you doing? Hope
To
you're
the
doing okay.
shenanigans.
For joining us in chat, of course, Vomer. Vomer's being the talkative one in our chat right now.
Yeah, lurkers. We're gonna start calling you out.
Well,
There's
they're
Commander
unutterable.
Root. There's
Waffle, they're unutterable, of course, because they're lurkers.
the unutterable lurkers.
Yeah,
Look at
I see
you.
what I did there.
Moobot. We see you, Moobot.
Stream elements. Yeah.
Stream elements.
Who else is here?
So I don't generally call out lurkers because I am a lurker. I'm like the lurkiest lurker too.
You are a lurkiest lurker.
I really am. What is it? They did that like Twitch like Wrapped at the end of the year.
Mhm.
And I don't know if it's because I use a third-party program to do all my chats through, and so it doesn't count them. But it'll be like you chatted this many times this past year, and it's like 30. And I'm like, I've chatted more than that.
Oh yeah, maybe it doesn't track those the same or something.
No,
It must
should,
not.
because it's going through the Twitch API, so it's
It can't though. It can't. Like it's a disgustingly low number.
only 30 chats out the whole year.
Something like that. Yeah, it's like 30. I'm like, what? I'll have to
Dude,
go
there's a
back and
channel
actually.
that I've been sub to for like 7 years. That probably is like in the same range just for that channel. It's like 30 jets. Like I am a mega lurker. I will sit in your channel subscribed for years and not say
Yeah,
anything.
and not say anything.
Not say a word.
Yeah, here it is. I found it. What is it? Hours watched in 2024, because I do watch a lot of Twitch, actually. I do. Hours watched 1,370. Distinct days visited 334. Chat sent 250.
Well, okay, 250 is not like as bad. That's
It's respectable.
But even I'm like, that seems
I mean,
low
I'm not saying
for
I respect
me.
it, but
Well, you don't have to respect it, but it's respectable.
I was like, that's like one chat sent every like 5 hours. I'm like, no, it's got to be a little more than that.
no, that sounds more or less accurate to me. Here is. I'm trying to find out where this cash shit comes from. Dude, the Secret World music is jamming.
It's banging. Might get a copyright DMCA
Jamming
on
wasn't
this.
good enough for you, you son of a bitch.
Nope.
I'm trying to figure out. Someone keeps looking for a dark mystery shotgun 3-pip, and like that's not a thing. I'm trying to figure out what they're looking for.
Dark Mysteries shotgun 3-pip. Yeah.
Yeah, Dark Mysteries is a chaos focus. So there's I'm not sure what they're looking for. I'm gonna say something about it. That's not a thing.
They're like Sweeney Todd. Come on now. that's not a thing.
I mean, if there's a comma, maybe he's but I mean, the way it's written, it looks like he wants a dark mystery shotgun. That's not a thing.
Yeah.
There's a dark precipice blade. There's a thundering demise shotgun from the same cache. Maybe he just wants the passive shotgun, the shotgun with passives on it, right? Because all those ones have passives. That's the cache where like all the weapons have like three passives on them, like for free.
Yeah.
Maybe he just wants the shotgun with the passives on it.
Maybe. Like maybe he just thinks the set is called like Dark Mysteries, like it's part of the Dark Mysteries set or something.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, in which case, what he's looking for is thundering demise. If that's true, but I don't know. But it certainly would help to search for the right thing if you're looking for something.
He's like, why can't I find this? And it's because it's not a thing. That's all right though.
Is it?
No.
All right. Just curious. I'm ornery today. I'm ornery this week.
Are you? I'm
Yeah.
spicy this week, apparently.
Spicy.
So spicy.
So spicy.
Someone said that. They're like, you're spicy this week. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, you
shut the hell up.
Yeah. Shut your mouth.
You shut your mouth when you're talking to me.
Like your opinions are a little not being well received. And I'm like, you know what? Shut up. I didn't ask you.
Come over there like a spider monkey.
I'm like, fine. But we did have news. We do have news.
No.
Yeah. That's why we're here. First one being the tabletop RPG Anvil Stars. The Secret World North America expansion is kickstarting Tuesday, January 28th at 12 p.m. Central. So make a note of that. Kickstarting the North America book. And the Kickstarter page says, an age is ending, and the darkest days are already here. As magic begins to fail... I tried saying that with like a positive, like, they're already here.
They're already here, guys.
It's great.
But wait, there's more.
As magic begins to fail, ancient enemies cast their avaricious gaze upon our world. Threats both mortal and cosmic, once thought merely myth, but horrifically all too real, begin to reveal themselves as a clock counts down towards apocalypse. In the midst of these growing shadows, some hope yet remains. are you? No, and you are that hope. I thought that was a question. I can't read today. Can you discover the truth behind the secret world? The Secret World North America. Secret World North America focuses the story on the Illuminati and the North American region. New player options, new cryptids, 7 new locations, 3 new interconnected adventures. The Secret World North America will be available for both 5e and Savage Worlds simultaneously. I like the 3 new interconnected adventures. Adventures always, I like that. I like that a lot. Like, give me the adventures. All the
interconnected.
All the modules.
I wonder how interconnected. You know what I mean?
I assume like one adventure like probably goes into the next.
Take Ocho on an adventure. I mean, he's
take Ocho on an adventure.
He's going on a plunge. He's getting enough adventures.
Yeah, you don't want to shock him too much.
You know what can happen when I get shocked too much.
I don't.
Yeah.
Genuinely don't.
What was the biggest adventure?
Arrhythmia, maybe?
What was the biggest adventure I've been on?
The one called life.
That's right. Live, laugh, love. Oh, what is it? No, I started. I started another
the journey. It's the friends we meet on the way.
I started another playthrough of Conan Exiles last night, and in the beginning, you get saved by Conan right in the beginning, and he comes and you're being crucified, and he like shoves you down and saves you. But one of the lines he says,
sorry. The way you said that, like Conan personally came and saved me. He shoved me down. He took me in strong arms.
I mean, that's what he does. He, shows up. He's like, "Oh, you're on the cross." He like knocks you over, like takes the bolts out of your palms. But then he says, he's like, live, love, like slay or something
laugh.
Like that. And that's the first thing that came to my head. I was like, Conan going like, live, laugh, love.
Yeah. This is sounding very like romance novel cover right now.
You awaken to his bare chest. Yes, clearly. Yeah.
I somehow missed that part.
I caught it. I missed it the previous times, but I caught it last night, and I was like, huh. Like, yeah, you can make that into a nice on reclaimed wood.
Yeah, or like a throw pillow for your couch.
Yeah, live, love, slay.
That's amazing.
I was like, why haven't they run with that yet? Funcom.
I don't know. That is a missed opportunity for sure.
Yeah, make your throw pillows. That
should be one of their displays.
Yeah, it should be a display.
That should be a display. 100%. That's amazing.
You have to make him find it. Find like the YouTube. Find it on YouTube, like the Conan Exiles introduction or something. I don't know if it's the one like there's a what do they call that? There's a cutscene.
Yeah, like the cinematic.
Of the cinematic of him of him like saving the woman. I don't think it's that one. I think it's the introduction. It's the introduction for your character.
Yeah.
Live, love, slay. Okay, all right.
By Crom.
That's great.
Yeah, I was like, why? Yeah, I never caught that before. It's good. It's very good.
Go to my Etsy shop.
Oh, it's amazing.
We could be the sisterhood of the traveling
loincloths.
Ripped loincloths.
Oh man, that was funny.
Anyway, what was I saying?
I'm still stuck on the romance cover part.
Yeah, I mean it works.
Conan took you in his big strong arms.
Conan is a romance, and obviously.
Yeah, it's like Fabio, cover. That's totally Conan.
Yeah.
Right?
There's 100%. Only a single set of footprints in the sand as you carried.
That's when Conan carried me.
Shit. Oh my god, that's too good. Literally too good.
And I would say Funcom needs to, talk to the rights owner, but Funcom is the rights owner of.
Yeah, they're just gonna do
Yeah.
that shit.
There is no, wondering who owns the rights. They own the rights outright. They own the rights. They can do whatever the heck they want.
I think they're missing out on the Conan romance novel segment.
Right? I mean, if who's it called? KFC. If Colonel Sanders can get in on it, certainly Conan can. In-game text adventure Conan romance. There you go.
Oh, like the Conan dating simulator.
Mm-hmm.
It was like Overwatch had a lover watch.
Yeah, they actually did that too. Remember, like
Mhm.
people talked about that for Secret World before, and then
I
like
found out there
Overwatch
is
actually did it.
Not 7 days, but Dead by Daylight one too.
It's crazy.
Actually did an April Fool's with the visual novel aesthetic a while back. I only sort of remember that.
I'm not remembering, but that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
It means nothing.
I was like, I'd have to go back and see. Not that I don't trust you. I do. April Fool's was I don't know if it's as big as it used to be.
I think everybody's just getting burnt out because all the companies doing like these stupid April Fools, and everyone's just like so tired of it.
Yeah.
I think you guys are just getting old.
Also true.
Yeah, well, welcome to the club.
I'm still down for the googly eyes. Give me googly eyes and April Fools.
Oh, I love it when Overwatch does that.
I said there's some games
the Overwatch googly eyes
do
shit
it.
is amazing.
It is.
I don't know when the last time Cartoon Network did it, but the one year they did googly eyes on every single cartoon was fucking hilarious. I watched that shit all day. I watched cartoons on that channel I'd never watched before just to see the googly eyes.
Yeah, like I've never seen this before, but yes, all of them.
But it's got googly eyes on it, and it's hilarious.
Oh, Vommer found it.
There's a link.
Oh my gods. Did you know that human flesh has more protein than chicken? A proper diet is essential. I do love a healthy lifestyle. Tell me more. This is the Conan Exiles gods dating sim. 'Tis I, Ymir. You see, it's funny because I cannot fit through doors. Teehee, oh Ymir, you're so funny.
That's amazing. Oh my god. I should have gotten alcohol. There's no real follow-up there. I just should have done that.
Very nice. Very nice. Thank you, Vommer, for providing that. So, yeah, I forget where I was going with that whole thing before Conan.
We were so far from the rails.
It was something having to do with the tabletop RPG, Secret World North America. I forget how or why.
Then we what did Conan and
Oh, hold on. What was it? Okay, that sounds familiar.
I said we're talking about the interconnected adventures and how the adventures were interconnected,
right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And then
somehow we
probably
got to Conan.
Live, Laugh, Love. We got to that somehow, and
well, no, you're saying that you're
like what's my
Conan.
biggest adventure or something like that.
Oh, maybe? My biggest adventure. Oh, right. Oh, it's talking about my personal biggest adventure.
What?
And then I said life. I think I said your biggest life, and then it spun from me saying life to that prompted you to think of the Conan thing or something.
So it's your fault.
We can Sherlock Holmes the fuck out of this, okay?
Be like, there's a path somewhere. Doesn't necessarily make sense, but there's a path somewhere.
I think we got it. We got it.
Yeah, no,
okay.
I think that's good. I think that's good.
But what I wanted to say about the interconnected was, do you think Jesus Christ, it was so far from anything in the original. We have come so far. We've gone too far. We're not going back.
We can't.
It was okay. So, do you think the interconnected is like like tangentially interconnected, or you think like remember the TSW like Christmas one where the factions were all doing the same mission but from different points of view?
Oh,
See what I'm
I,
saying? You
I
think
know,
they would do
yeah.
like that, or do you think it's more just like more tangentially?
No, I think it's
Interconnected?
probably more tangentially. Like it's three. It probably is three distinct like adventures, and there's an overriding theme among all three of them. Is what I'm assuming.
Then we need to pitch
So
them the Christmas, uh, like not the adventure itself, but the concept, because you have Secret World, you have the factions. You could write an adventure, and then just sell it 3 times by shifting shifting some
by
paragraphs
just
around.
right. Well, isn't it like how the first time I really saw that in the game was when they did like the underground garage one, right? And it was like, you know, at some point they're
Oh, the
like, oh, this
Christmas?
faction got here first, or this faction did this
Yeah, yeah.
first, and this faction, yeah. Like you were just
Yeah, no,
basically,
that's true. It happened in that one as well. I just remember the Christmas one, I think, being, I don't know, somehow it was more noticeable to me, like the differences. You're right, it does happen in Into Darkness.
yeah. It's
But
it's
like
sort of that whole.
the Christmas one I think was just, I don't know, it was more impactful, I guess.
Maybe it's because I didn't play the Christmas one with other factions.
Well, because I
I
mean, you
only played
see
it
the
through
other faction.
Illuminati.
Like when you're going, whatever faction you're going through with, you see
Hmm.
the other factions. But then when you play the other faction, you are that side, and it's the other side is like NPC. So like,
Oh, okay.
you know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
whatever you played through, if whatever faction you were, when you saw those other factions in that Christmas one, like when you play through the other way, you're the other side.
Okay, so you're doing what
Um,
the other side was doing, essentially.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
And then the other side is like NPC. So like there's just more NPCs. Where like Into Darkness, you're right, it is the same concept, but it's, I don't know, it's like in a cinematic and like talked about, and there's like a timestamp on the thing, but it's not as in your face as like I'm running past these other groups of faction people that are shooting at me or something. It's not
Yeah.
not quite the same. The Christmas one felt, I guess, larger, like more in your face about it.
That it's sort of like there is, yeah, because you don't really encounter that too often. The concept of like, no, there is competition between the factions.
Isn't it a Christmas one, Wilmer? I thought it was the Christmas conspiracy one. No? Maybe it is London. Wait, which one's London Underground? We don't have it in Legends, whatever it is. For some reason, I thought it was the Christmas one. Maybe it's not. Okay, yeah.
London
Maybe it was
Underground was
London
a
Underground then.
maybe.
Was Christmas one in like a similar venue and they just like reskinned it or something? Maybe that. I don't know. I remember that. I thought that was like underground as well.
London Underground does have a novelization of it. Bloodwed Mallory did write that. It's on Amazon. You can go get it.
Templar had a sword to defend. Illuminati and Dragon wanted to get out the sword, and one group fought, and one did turret stuff. Yeah, yeah. Okay, maybe, yeah. Okay, it probably was. It probably was London Underground, not the Christmas one. Yeah, it was 3 distinct POVs of the same thing happening, but like that was the content. Whereas like in Into Darkness, like you only really see it in like a 10-second cinematic or something with a timestamp. Like it's not
Mm-hmm.
3 different missions to tune. I mean, maybe.
Because it's technically three separate missions, really. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, all the artwork behind it would be the same, and the location basically would be the same, but
That was my point, is like pitching that concept to Star Anvil, Uh I know
how would
that
that work in a tabletop RPG though? I'm not even sure.
well no,
Unless you have
I'm
like
just saying I'm saying you could sell 3 different versions of the same one, and you could reuse like probably 2/3 of the writing.
unless you do it as like an almost PvP sort of um tabletop where you just go from one person to the next, like, okay, and now you, what are you doing? And they're doing this, like, you're actually like
Well,
against the
I'm
other
just saying like
two.
I'm saying is like you could literally have a, yeah, red blue green.
Yeah,
You could have
yeah, yeah.
but I'm saying you wouldn't necessarily buy all of them, or you could buy all of them, right? Or you could just be like, oh, our group is like mostly like Illuminati players or Templar players, so we're gonna buy the Templar one, right?
Or just make it. Oh, I see. Like it's sort of like
I'm just saying you could kind of recycle some content and tweak it and have 3 different versions of the same one. I'm trying to give them a way to like boost revenue for less effort,
Sell
but
3.
do it in continuity of the game, you know?
I see what you mean, yeah.
And then some people want to own all of them, and then boom, you're selling triple.
You got 3 sales.
I'm just saying, just trying to help with the marketing, okay?
So this bookstore everyone's doing right now is Illuminati focused. Maybe they'll have 3 different versions of an adventure for the next faction focused books.
And then you need alternate covers, you know? foil. You gotta do the whole 9.
Say 7 new locations across North America. Gotta figure 1 or 2 has to be in Canada.
Canada, eh?
Yeah. Secret World of the North, eh?
Steelbook.
Anyway, that is coming to Kickstarter Tuesday, January 28th, and will last a month, because that's how long Kickstarter lasts for. I'm sure we will promote it again.
For Valentine's, right?
Yeah. When is Valentine's Day?
The 14th.
February somewhere.
It doesn't move.
Yeah, I think you're right.
It's the 14th.
Yeah, I should know that. It's like second Tuesday of the month or something, right? No, it's yeah, it's always
yeah, it's not like Thanksgiving or something. It has a date. It doesn't move around. Although I'd love to see you try and get that one passed. Like, no, babe, it moved.
Valentine's Day is right. The second Monday. Week. They're like, why are you making it Monday? Gosh. Of all days, but Valentine's Day.
Yeah, okay. Valentine's Day has always been a date. I'm not sure if you're aware of that.
What?
I'll say I actually have a friend whose birthday is on that date. So maybe I'm just confusing it. It's like
that's what you're gonna tell your wife. Sorry, I can't make it.
Like that's his birthday. It's actually more her friend, really, but it's our friend.
It's like, yeah, you should understand. It's your friend.
Yeah, it's his birthday. Why aren't you celebrating it? Good times. But yeah, it'll be ending just about Valentine's Day. So you could, if you have a Secret World lover in your life, you could romantically get them the Illuminati, North America, or at least whatever they give them the Kickstarter for it. It's not as romantic. Be like, oh, what'd you get me? Oh, I got you. I kickstarted something in your name. Like, oh, thanks.
They're like, I don't even play this game. What's wrong?
You just got that for yourself. All right, maybe. Yeah, sure. But it's something we could do together.
You never cave that easily. No, it's for you.
But it's it's tabletop. It's a game we could play together, you see. It's
bring the family together.
I also got you Conan Exiles, so you can live, love, slay.
Live, love, slay. That's romantic. Say, other than that, we have news for Dune Awakening. They're still going strong on Dune Awakening. They put out their 4th Communinet signal on December 20th, which was just like the next day after our last show. But they say 2024.
They couldn't like do it before.
Couldn't do it the day before. No.
No. Why you gotta do it on a Friday? That's dumb.
What a dumb date. Friday. Gosh.
It's the weekend. Who works on a weekend?
2024 has been a pivotal year for us and the development of the game, as we have opened the development build of the game to lucky players selected for our closed beta testing. We started with a very small core group of testers at the end of last year and have been slowly growing that group ever since. Sometime in the middle of this year, we expanded the scope of the test with the persistent beta test, where we keep the servers running 24/7 for our testers. It has been an incredible source of important data and feedback that we've taken to heart and used to continually improve the game, doubling down on the parts of our vision that resonate with our players and tweaking and adapting those that do not. It's a very rewarding process, and we're incredibly grateful to all of our testers for helping us complete this final leg of our journey to launch. There's not much we can share with you just yet, as these tests are still strictly under NDA, but as a year-end treat for you all, we'll be sharing some fun and interesting stats from these closed beta tests. The early 2025 release is fast approaching. Until then, enjoy this last Communinet signal of the year. Hey, Dan Van Dam. DVD, how you doing? Where they say, Deadly Arrakis, the NPC inhabitants of Arrakis are responsible for 58% of player deaths. The second and third most common causes of death are sandworms and dehydration. 2% of players who have played at least 10 hours have never died in the game, yet. More content. Who's your mentor? During character creation, you can choose your mentor, which determines your starting abilities as well as some dialogue choices across the game. These have been the selections of mentors chosen by our beta testers so far. Bene Gesserit, Swordmaster, Trooper, and Mentat, with an even split generally between them, with most people choosing Bene Gesserit at 31%, where Swordmaster, Trooper, and Mentat are 24, 23, and 22%. Still a pretty even split, though. It's pretty nice.
Huh.
They say, P.S. We give an early look at in-development version of the character creation process in our Dune Awakening Direct Episode 2 and our Gamescom gameplay reveal. All water is precious on Arrakis. Closed beta players extracted approximately 1.5 million liters of blood from fallen enemies and living creatures.
Oh, Jesus.
As they say, that's a primary source of fluid, is blood. Close to 100 Muad'Dibs had their blood extracted, which not the character Paul, who they just called Muad'Dib, but the actual creature, the kangaroo mouse, the little tiny mouse that he took the name from. And they say, how could you? how could you extract blood from the tiny kangaroo mice?
Like you wouldn't get much from them.
No, not a whole bunch.
That just sounds spiteful at that point.
Yeah, it's like a small, tiny little creature that's very cute and lovable, and you're just no, you're an evil person.
How could you? How could you? We put them in the game and we gave them blood, but how could you kill them?
Right. That sounds like a very Joel thing to do.
Yeah, why not? It's there. As I've always
I just put this nice tempting thing in the way that no one would ever do something like
what
this
they do is
allowing to happen.
They give players hammers and put nails everywhere in the game. What do you expect them to do with it?
I'll make dicks.
That's right. That's a primary thing. That's why the Funcom game, what was it? Lego. They had a Lego game at some point.
Was that the Worlds? Was Worlds theirs?
It's very short-lived.
It was short-lived, and the whole reason why Lego minifigures online. That's what it was.
Minifigures. That's what it was.
Lego minifigures online.
That's a mouthful.
They had to basically shut down because too much effort went into policing the community to stop people from making lewd things with Legos.
I mean, I don't really see how you can do that. It takes like 5 bricks to like do that.
Speaking from experience.
You're like,
5
it's just a tower.
Blocks. Like, it's not fucking difficult to do. It's a pretty basic.
Yeah,
it's a basic shape.
Pretty straightforward design. I guess because they had to make have made a agreement with Lego that they were like, yeah, we're not gonna have that. We're not
come on. Do you think Lego didn't see that coming from like a mile away?
Of course, Lego did. That's why they were like, no, we don't want that to happen. But they said, yeah, it was costing them way too much, and I believe it's one of the only games that Funcom has shut down. One of the only multiplayer games that Funcom has shut down.
I think also because maybe they didn't have the rights to it anymore or something, right? I think it got shut down not because like they wanted to shut it down, but because they had to. That makes sense.
Lego came in with the hammer.
Yeah, I don't think they don't own that, right? It's not like Conan where they have the IP. Yeah, Lego didn't renew the license. So like Lego.
If Funcom owned Lego, that'd be a whole other
right, different story. There'd be a whole different conversation happening right now.
Wikipedia.
Where the fuck my 6-year-old Legos are is what I would want to know.
Yeah, Come on, guys.
I want to build Agartha. God damn it.
Or Innsmouth Academy.
Okay. According to the website playminifigures.com, which was a Funcom website, they say Lego Minifigures Online closed down September 30th, 2016. No, wait, that's just a basic.
No, I think
We're
like
out.
Farmer said, they Lego didn't get like renew the license, so like they had no choice but to turn it off. They didn't have legal permission anymore. You know what I mean?
Well, according to Wikipedia, they say that due to the game's failure to meet Funcom's internal revenue forecasts, they shut it down, which may have been also, I'm sure, part of that was how much they were paying for the license, of course.
Yeah, if you can't pay for the license, then which
You're
is
out,
another reason I
Johnny.
think they're making games that they have IP rights to. They don't
Mm.
have to
And
worry about someone coming
they
along
were just
and
like,
like, you know,
listening, it's not making it's also not making it's costing us so much to find all the dicks. And it's just and then on top of that, we have to pay for the licensing, which they keep making more.
hold on. I want to know that was someone's job title. Funcom Dick Finder.
No, it's the Dick Hunter.
My name's Peter. I work at Funcom.
I work
This
at
is my
Funcom.
job.
The Lego
official
moderation
title,
giving the poor GMs PTSD.
It's on
Yeah,
it's on
absolutely.
my office door. Dick Tracy. Ha! That is amazing. There you go.
I wonder if we ask Andy nice enough, he would tell us if it
Who was the Dick Finder?
who was a Dick Finder at Funcom.
This week on Dick Hunter.
Dick Tracy.
Dick Tracy's really good. That was a really good one. Inspired.
But yeah, as far as I know, the only Funcom game that they've actually taken offline. The rest of them still up and going. You could go play Anarchy online if you want.
Licensing fees on, so it makes sense.
Yeah, and they won't take and obviously they won't take Conan Exiles offline now because they own Conan Exiles. So
yeah,
they also have no reason to do that one either. Dune Awakening, I guess. Well, I guess that's probably that could be part of it too. Is Dune Awakening? They obviously do not own the rights to Dune, so that will be something that they have to wrestle with Dune Awakening. Interesting thought there.
How did they end up licensing Dune then?
Well, they did it through. They obviously did it through Tencent. Or no, they did it pre Tencent.
Yeah,
they got the rights. They got the rights to, and that's because it was. They got the rights.
They got it for Dune Spice Wars.
They announced it. They started working on it, and then the Tencent acquisition happened because Tencent's like, we want that Dune money, yo.
We want that Dune money.
And they were like, just work on Dune, nothing else.
You got it, boss.
Why do they use the vines? They are green on this pink thing. Pets vs. Monsters 2, but it's not a game of the same level as MMOs. Yeah.
They have a gaming partnership established with Legendary Entertainment for the creation of a minimum of 3 games based on the Dune intellectual property over the next 6 years on PC and console. So this is from 2019. So yeah, it's not just that they partnered with Legendary Entertainment. This is pre the Tencent thing.
Mm-hmm.
For the creation of a minimum of 3 games based on the Dune IP over the
minimum
next 6
of
years.
3, which is interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, so it wouldn't be just Dune unless that detail has changed since. Unless that detail has changed since, that's interesting because that means there'd be. Well,
there should be a third.
Yeah, because they did.
Spice Wars is one.
Yeah, and Awakening. So there should be a third one then. So at some point, right?
At least to satisfy the contract.
Yeah,
or satisfy the agreement.
Interesting.
But if they are, they haven't announced it yet. It's gonna be it's gonna be Dune Chop Chop is what it's gonna be.
I mean, I'd play that.
Hey Scratch, how you doing? Welcome, Scratch.
As long as they don't do like a live service Dune game.
But Spice Wars was also is also one they are just publishing.
Is it?
Right? Is that correct? Let me check real quick.
I mean, maybe. It might still count, I guess, potentially if they're as far as
if they're
them
publishing it,
putting
it
out.
might still count. Yeah,
Might still count towards the total potentially.
Right, because Dune Spice Wars was developed by Shiro Games and then published by Funcom.
Yeah. But if they have the rights to
Speaking
publish
of
it, like, you know what I mean, like that still could fall under that umbrella, I suppose.
It can,
That
yeah.
still
And it
means there
probably
needs to be
does.
one. There needs to be one more Dune game.
Yeah, it's gonna be the visual novel. It's gonna be the dating simulator.
Dating simulator.
Date your favorite sandworm. They'd be like, technically it counts. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah.
Technically it counts. Not sure that's what they want from that, but okay.
Like, yeah. Be like, it's a third Dune game.
I mean, they could make a single player game, I suppose. Theoretically. Right? Okay.
Yeah.
Hear me out. They could do a Dune Souls-like.
Okay.
Right?
They've got all the desert assets for sure. Yeah. I could do that.
They do a Dune Souls-like, single player / co-op. Sandworm Simulator, Be the Worm. Oh,
Be the Worm.
Actually, that would kind of go hard. If I could just swim around in the sand and then just like come up underneath things and crunch
Sandworm
them.
Surfer.
Sandworm Surfer would fucking be legit amazing. All right, gotta throw that over to Funcom.
You basically build a little house on top of the worm itself. And you just go from place to place. Worm traveling simulator.
You remember that the game? There's the game where like you're just like a little ball. You start rolling around, picking up shit, and then you just keep doing that like through cities. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
It was like a Japanese game originally or something.
Yes.
And you just keep. And by the way, Google did a thing with that for the. You can enable that on Google and like just roll all the text on the screen into each other in this ball of like HTML spinning around.
Katamari Damacy.
Yeah, you can do Katamari in Google, and it's like I think if you Google it, you can do it on the page itself, and all the elements of the page will like wrap, and you can like just snowball over each other into this ball of shit. Like it's still a thing. I'm pretty sure. My kids wanted to see it, and I did it for them. Just Google.
Yes, you can.
You click the little bubble, and then you just roll the ball around, and it picks up the elements.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm doing it right now.
Like,
yes, it's true.
Yeah, it's so funny. Oh, that's amazing. Okay, so what I'm thinking is that, but like the sandworm, right? Sort of the opposite. You're just destroying everything. There's a sandworm just going around like.
You can pick up all the little like pictures, all the little icons.
Okay, it's basically like the Snake fucking 8-bit like DOS game,
Yeah.
But just cute. 3D and you're a sandworm. Just eat everything.
Katamari Sandworm. Right. What would be the third game? But they also said that they were really pushing NVIDIA's new features coming to Dune Awakening. They say Dune Awakening will be one of the first games to feature NVIDIA's DLSS 4 tech with multi-frame generation. DLSS multi-frame generation generates up to 3 additional frames per traditionally rendered frame, working in unison with a complete suite of DLSS technologies to multiply frame rates up to 8 times over traditional brute force rendering. Which brute force rendering. It's a way to put just
Sounds
what
lovely.
every other engine has done for the history of computing so far.
Yeah,
it's just brute forcing all these.
Those brutes forcing
just
themselves,
brute forcing
shoving it right in.
All these frames. This is NVIDIA's use of AI technology, powered by the graphics industry's first real-time application of transformers. The same advanced architecture powering frontier models like ChatGPT Flux more than meets the eye. But always remember, folks, if your game is putting out more frames than your monitor is capable of showing you,
it'll look even better.
If you have a 60 hertz monitor, you're only getting 60 frames. That's it.
Now, the next thing is we're going to have to upgrade our eyes FPS.
That's right. I wonder that sometimes.
Yeah, technically, I think you don't. So
it's 60, right?
Well, yes and no. I think so. Like, I think technically yes, but you can notice the difference.
Yeah.
Between like 60 and 120, like you can, even though technically you don't see more. I think it just ends up being smoother. Just looks smoother, even though you can't see the individual. In fact, I would argue not seeing individual frames is what you want, right? Like you don't want to see the frames. You actually want it to be past what you can see, because if it's more frames than you can see, then it's going to be smoother, right? If you think about it, does that make sense? What I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It does, yeah.
If I can see 60 frames per second, that means I can see each frame. Right. I don't want to see the flip book, right? You want it to appear to be a one.
You want to appear to be smoother.
Yeah,
I get that, but it's also simultaneously. But you're still only getting the flip book, right?
I mean, it's always still a flip book, technically, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's
but the point is,
what all video is.
The point is,
one frame.
The more of them, the more of those in between frames there are, like the smoother it ends up looking. That, it's like when you go with a flip book. If you do it really fast, it appears to, that you don't see them. If you do it slower, you can kind of see the seams, right?
And I get, yes, because to a certain extent, we do that. Do.
He said do.
And I have a story about this. I was playing, what was it called? Half-Life 2. I was playing Half-Life 2, and I had not set up on my PC any sort of like frame limiter or anything like that. So Half-Life 2, it's an older game, was probably running at like, I don't know, 1,000 frames a second or something like that, because it was just pushing it as much as it could do. And as I was playing it, this is the only time I've ever experienced this, but as I was playing it, I felt myself getting like hot and like sweaty and then nauseous. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? And I just stopped playing. I was actually getting motion sickness from playing it because the frame rate was so exceptionally high that it was like throwing off something in my visual perception of it. It's the only time that ever happened to me playing a video game.
Watch my stream from last night.
I would say I've never had motion sickness in real life. I've been on airplanes multiple times. I drive everywhere. I've never had motion sickness in real life. I have only had motion sickness playing Half-Life 2 on my PC. And it was probably because the amount of frames that it was pushing out, and it could have been that the amount of frames it was pushing out was, so obviously there had to have been that I was detecting it. There had to have been a some sort of like disconnect there. There had to be some sort of like something, because I was,
it was just too much.
Obviously,
your brain's like, I feel like I'm speeding down a hallway.
Yeah. Or there was some major disconnect between like what I was seeing and how my brain was translating it, and something.
Yeah, Varmer,
says, I don't want them inserting frames. I want the frames that actually exist. You also don't want them to start making up frames because some animations rely on a certain number of frames per second for a certain feel or movement. Yeah, that's sort of
okay. So the problem is the 60 FPS interpolated. You can't interpolate 60 FPS. That's what you see. Interpolating, like, that means you're pushing 30 and filling in 30. That's going to be shit. But you can do 60 and fill in up to like 120. Like, you can artificially make it feel smoother without.
And that's what they're doing. Yeah.
But you can't interpolate 60 because that means you're only pushing 30 and you're like fudging the other 30. That means we're just lying to your eye for half of what you're seeing. That's gonna feel shitty.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm saying you can smooth. You can take 60.
Yeah, it's not like
and add
it's
more.
Not like if you set the game to. It's not like if you set the game to 60 frames, you're only gonna get 15 frames a second, and they're just gonna be like the rest of them are just gonna be. We're just gonna make. No,
that has been a problem. Like the 60 FPS interplay is a thing that is a problem that they're trying to like be they're trying to save and do less work. So like, oh, we'll just do 30 and we can interpolate it up, and like that is ass. I watched a whole YouTube thing on this where like yeah, like the 24. Like I watched a YouTube thing on this. They're talking about like part of the problem is they're trying to get around essentially doing work that they should be doing. Like, oh, we'll just get the engine to do it for us. And it's like, no, no, no. You need to do it up to this level, and then the engine can make it better. But you can't just be like, oh, it'll do it for us. Let's do less because it'll cost us less money or whatever. Like, it's bad.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
the
24
examples that
input to
they've
60
given
would be
have been
fucking
like
awful.
they've been like 60 frames and pushing to like 270 frames or something, like almost 300 frames. And they're like, it's going to be basically running at 60 frames, or you with the same power as 60 frames, but it'll be pushing something like 270, and thus make it smoother for the viewer.
Yeah. But yeah, like you shouldn't fuck with the base amount your eyeball can see. That seems stupid.
Yeah, or that your monitor can even put out. Yeah, I have thought about that. Like, what is our at some point our eyes themselves can only see up to a certain resolution, up to a certain frame rate. Like, what is a frame rate of our eyes? At some point, we actually there's a threshold where we have to hit that.
Yeah, but people also I saw something about that too. Like also people like adapt. You if you're staring at a certain rate like all the time, you kind of get used to it, and so you'll like even if you technically can't or your eye not supposed to see it, like your brain will notice when something's like off.
Right, which is why I said the story of me playing Half-Life 2, where it's you're like, I noticed it. Yeah. I noticed something was wrong. Even though my monitor was still only putting out 60, my brain was like, nope, there's a lot more going on here. But I just found that interesting. Yeah, the only time I've ever gotten motion sickness was playing freaking Half-Life 2. I don't know. It's just weird.
I imagine a thing like, that would be like what it'd be like to, you're going super fast, like you're the Flash or something, and everything's just like,
yeah,
too many frames going by.
Or maybe the disconnect of like I'm not actually traveling that far, and yet I'm traveling that far. Like I'm traveling way farther than I should actually be traveling, and thus it's creating some sort of disconnect. I was like, wow. Yeah. So now I know what motion sickness feels like. So just weird. Anyway.
I need to make a clip for you. See if
but I can see if, because what are mostly console games are mostly at 30 frames.
Yeah.
If they put out console games mostly at 30, I could see them potentially trying to do that from 30 to 60 in console games, but even that could be bad. That could be weird.
Yeah.
Well, the other idea, I do not want 30 to 60 FPS interpolation. Yeah. I mean, most people do anyway. Like, how many times do you see during during the holidays and people are like, are you going home to visit family? This is what it's called to turn off their feature on their TV that makes it look worse. And it's like, smoothing or whatever feature on their TV is like picture like smoothing or this or that.
Like there's that one that makes it look like everything looks like a daytime soap opera. And you're like, what the shit?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Why does my Marvel movie look like a fucking soap opera? What the fuck is happening?
That motion smoothing and it's just
motion smoothing, yeah. And they're like, because many people don't like that. Yeah, they don't want that look. They want almost the lower frame rate because that's just what they're used to. That that's what looks good, unless you're watching soap operas, I guess, and then it, that it has a different frame rate to it for whatever reason. I don't know. The other idea is that, and I've taken classes in this in the past, when it comes to audio engineering, our ears, what are CDs burned at? CDs are usually recorded at 44.1 kilohertz. That's a sample rate that CDs are. And the reason why it's at specifically 44.1 kilohertz is it's twice the rate of human hearing. Our ears can hear up to 22.5 kilohertz. So, But if something is done at a higher rate, 44.1 for CDs, and for excuse me, and for they do that so that you get more of a range that otherwise we do not hear. Like, we don't hear the sounds directly, but we can still perceive them in different ways. And that's why when you listen to a record, that you hear, it sounds quote unquote warmer. It has a more warm sound because you don't get the tones, but you also get the overtones, and you get the semitones, and you get all the ranges in between that a note makes up. Like, you hit one note, and it's really not just like that one note, but it also has other cascading overtones on top of it. And when you get that whole effect, our ears can perceive that. So it's sort of that same way, but we still can't hear anything over like 22 kilohertz, just because our ears aren't designed that way, but we can still perceive it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Audio engineering. I took that class. Gosh, I took that class like 25 years ago. So I hope I'm not like talking out my ass on that one. Yeah, there's a reason vinyl persists. Yeah, absolutely. And it's because of it's not digital, where digital cuts it off. Digital cuts off those the waveforms. Whereas vinyl is whatever the opposite of digital is. I can't think of the name off the top of my head. Analog, yeah. Vinyl's recorded analog, and so it has you get more of that. Now, I'm not going to be the type to be like, I know all of this. I have been an audiophile. I know all the science of audiophile, and I get why, but my ears are not good enough to really care that much.
I'm deaf as shit. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, my ears are not good enough to care about that difference so much. So I'm not gonna be like, oh my gosh, like this sounds so much, so much crisper and so much warmer and so much this. It's like, yes, it does. I also really like an MP3. I also really like that convenience, and you do the trade-off of the convenience for the for cutting off the waveform a little bit. And obviously because MP3s and CDs flourished as they did, a lot of other people agreed as well. But yeah, for that reason, vinyl is never going to go away. Anyway,
also just cool. Vinyl's just cool.
It's just cool, yeah. It's just good collector's items. I'm glad it's made a comeback. But it sort of made a comeback for that reason. Like, it's because it is technically fully analog that it eschews the digital. Other than that, what else do we got? Conan Exiles. Conan Exiles released their producer's letter going forward over 2024 and beyond, including holding off on developing new content. Ooh. Conan Exiles, they put in the producer's letter. This was today, actually. They put out their producer's letter. Or was it today or was it yesterday? When did they put this out? Breaking news. No, this was yesterday, January 15th. They say Conan Exiles was not actually intended to be a game as a service when we developed and first released it into early access in 2017. We hope to recoup the costs of development and make enough money for our next project. Instead, it became the biggest success in Funcom's history. With so much interest from the community, we continue building on it for the next 7 years. We released many DLCs, major updates, and the Isle of Sipta expansion. Apparently, in early access. It wasn't early access for quite a while.
No, it wasn't.
I mean,
it was like
quite
a
while. Like,
I think it was one.
Was it just one?
I'm pretty sure it was just one. It was one. Two was hot, so I want to say it was one.
This date. I think you are correct. Yes. Early access versions of the game were released in early 2017, leaving early access on May 8th, 2018.
Yeah. They were the example of like, stop fucking sitting in early access for goddamn ever.
I was going to say.
Early access is to get ready and then launch.
But Funcom has done really good with early access. They're like one of the companies that it's actually...
They do it right. They're like, oh, trust early access is this, and then they publish. Instead of early access for infinity.
We're just in early access, so we can stay off the the criticism of people going, you know, um, oh well, the game still needs this, it still needs this, and they're like, well, it's still in early access. It's like years later.
Yeah, no, I remember that. Well, I had it like day one, right? I was in early access the second it was available, and I just remember it being a thing. Like there was articles like this is how you're supposed to do early access.
Yeah.
Um,
They're like, you're in early
yeah,
access, you use the money from early access to continue development, and then you launch, and then
damn, it's 7 years. Holy shit.
but yes, early access in 2017 is when they started. Said instead it became the biggest success in Funcom's history. With so much interest from the community, we continued building on it for the next 7 years. We released many DLCs, major updates, and the Aloft expansion. Aiming for an even longer-term goal in mind, we released Age of Sorcery in 2021, setting out on a new path to deliver content to everyone free of charge and a more regular cadence than before. Over time, keeping up with this ambitious release plan has become increasingly difficult. Conan Exiles development is complex because we must balance new development with the need to address long-standing issues brought on by years of expanding a game that was never built for it. Technical debt is inevitable in all game development. We've accumulated quite a bit with Conan Exiles due to how the game was initially built and expanded over time. Therefore, we've taken the decision to hold off on developing new content and features while we focus on improving the game from a technical and quality of life standpoint. At this point, we believe we need to put more focus into making the game better, not just bigger. Our goal for the next update is to start focusing on resolving bugs and increasing stability. We will release this update in spring 2025 and give you more insight into what to expect as we get closer to release. This update will be a key step in addressing the game's core issues and laying a stable foundation for the future.
I think it's pretty awesome, honestly.
I mean, all games need quality of life. And it's actually kind of across the board. We've seen other MMOs too. Specifically, I'm going to point out Elder Scrolls Online. Elder Scrolls Online kind of also put out a letter that was very similar to this. They're like, we've been doing this cadence of every year doing like a dungeon and then an expansion and then a second expansion and then blah 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 blah, and having like for the past couple of years, and it's really they've been really stable about doing so. And then this year they were like, yeah, we don't know if we're going to release one this year. We're going to focus a little differently. We're going to pull it back a little bit. But that could also just be because the MMO genre as a whole sort of on fire for the past year. Tons of layoffs across the board. Many studios taking big hits as far as
that's true.
And so a lot of studios have pulled back a bit and they say, yeah, we know we've been hitting this cadence, but yeah, we don't know if we can keep it
everybody, so
we got rid of everybody. I'm looking at you, Star Trek Online. What the hell are you doing over there? Star Trek Online. It's they've just that they've got like the worst news out of everybody. Star Trek Online was made by Cryptic. Cryptic was bought by somebody, Perfect World, I think. But then Perfect World switched to somebody else. I don't know. I forget exactly who. But basically, over the past year, they've switched Cryptic to Deca Games, which is essentially under Embracer Group, which is essentially a holding company. They've switched Star Trek and all of Cryptic's properties over to Deca Games, which they've made like one online game, but it's not big. It hasn't been a big one. They've switched like the entire group over there and then just basically just started laying off all of Cryptic. Such that like some of the biggest names there are gone. And it's like,
wasn't their lead graphic designer for all the ships for like the past 20 years, he just left?
Yeah. I think Nick DeGoyd is his name.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he just left. Thomas Maroney is still there. He's also one of their best ship designers. But hopefully they won't get rid of him. Yeah, just losing talent, just losing basically what made the games what they are. So it's like the future for Star Trek Online is really, really dim right now. So it's like them, Elder Scrolls Online pulled back content. Yeah, just you're seeing across the board a lot of layoffs. I know someone who was just working at Microsoft. He was just laid off, like a really long-term engineer. So just across the board, a lot of layoffs. And so this isn't too much of a surprise. Over the past like year or so, like Conan Exiles stopped doing the the battle pass. They decided to stop the battle pass.
Yeah.
They stopped making for that. But then they released that, they're like, you can have 2 followers that like have their own storylines and have their own, you can have companions with you. Which is really cool. I really love that idea. But yeah, so them turning around, it's also saying, yeah, we're going to be holding off developing new content. We're going to basically build it up to what we can, fix some of the bugs, increase the stability, fix some of the long-term issues. It's a little bit of a scale back.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like I said, they just put out the thing with the companions. That's a really cool feature. Who knows? And then, but of course, also Dune's basically getting the lion's share of what they're doing anyway.
Yeah, for sure. Like that.
But I haven't heard of any layoffs at Funcom either. So, knock on wood, that everyone we know is safe.
Can't get it up that fast. I'm gonna need some time.
Not knocking that far. You're very far away. So yeah, so they've been scaling back. Good to know. They've been scaling back,
you gotta,
but they also have
wine and dine me a little bit. You can't just be like, come on,
like, come here, you.
I gave Waffle a clip to try and give Mikey motion sickness.
Oh yeah.
What, you want people to see it?
Yes. No, I sent you the clip so you could print it out on a piece of paper and shove it in your sock drawer.
Oh, okay.
1 frame at a time, by the way. It's going to be a lot of paper in your sock drawer.
Just be like this. They still print stuff out on paper anymore? We have a printer.
Surprisingly, yes.
I have a printer, but I haven't set it up. It's been just sitting over there for like, I don't know, the past year.
Every once in a blue moon, I have to take it out and print something for like kids' school or something. Oh my god, it's not dark mode. What did you do there?
Try to make the screen bigger. Earth.
That is not my clip, just FYI.
Okay. Okay. Live view of the ISS. Okay. All right. Exciting.
That's not what I wanted either.
Can't wait to see what happens. I'm on the edge of my seat over here. Should I be scared?
Hold on.
Okay. While we wait. Another piece of big news that came out. Astrolab Interactive. Oh, wait, here we go. Oh my gosh, this is your clip of...
Okay, but that's still... It's like a phone on your screen. What do you...
Yeah.
Hold on.
He's
like, I'm adjusting the picture. God.
Get it together, man. There you go.
Okay.
I can see it.
This is Jimmy playing running. No, that's just Agartha. Oh my gosh.
No, it's the Rogue Agent mission.
Okay.
Watch my jump. Watch my jump down.
It feels so weird to jump off. It's like you're landing in the it. It's super strange.
That did look like so much more of a jump.
Well, it looks like you're falling like inwards or something. Like it feels so weird to do that.
We're gonna do it again. This looks and feels so weird to jump off. It's like you're landing inside.
Right, like the way the ground comes up. It's bizarre.
Strange.
I was in a dungeon with Bomber. I did a whole dungeon, and like it gets worse. Like you don't when there's walls around you and you spin around, like it goes like.
And this was Jimmy playing. Were you using the photo mode mod, right? This was the photo mode.
No,
mod.
not photo mode. Reshade. Reshade.
A reshade. This was doing reshade.
Yeah.
And
tiny planet filter.
With a tiny planet filter, which changes
it's
for whatever reason.
Well, the whole point is like it warps the perspective, right? So like you get like that. The ground you're standing on is like a ball, and everything else like sort of like warped around. But when you move your mouse around, like it changes the focal point, and it'll do some weird shit.
Especially when you're moving. And I was tanking a dungeon like that, and I killed Bomber many times, not intentionally, because I couldn't actually see them when I was doing it.
So you kill a couple of people in the process. It's okay.
I was like, is anyone alive? I can't tell.
You hate to see it. Hey, Astrid, how you doing?
Astrid,
welcome in, Astrid. It's a fun way to play, though. Now you have to figure out
good pictures out of it.
Playing the game 100% in that
100% Tiny Planet? Dude, no one would fucking watch my stream more than they already don't watch my stream. Here, I'll just put two regular pictures for you, Awful, so I can get them in here. God damn it, why is this being dumb?
Robert said it was honestly a hilariously fun dungeon run. All the wipes were hilarious, even to the rest of the group. What did Jimmy look like from that perspective? Because obviously Jimmy had a different.
I just looked like an idiot, like running into shit.
You were just like running into a corner for 5 minutes. Jimmy was tanking, and instead of taking a fully shielded Prime Maker to the water, he went 90 degrees and bolted away with the lens still up. Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't see where the water was at first. That was a problem.
Yeah, you gotta find that water. Yeah.
Well, like the view warped, and then
that's awesome. So that's why I love all your runs. I love all the ideas that you come up with. They're so creative.
I was going through because I installed the latest version of Reshade, and I was like, oh, what's this filter? And I was like, oh, that's crazy. I got some cool screenshots like for like the thumbnails. I was like, what if I can play like this? And at first I was like, there's no fucking way. But there's sliders on it because okay, so I don't know if you're gonna understand this, but that playing like that works because everything's warped, but like I can kind of see straight ahead more or less. Like it warps up and down, but it's kind of by default when you turn on the filter, it's this way.
Ooh, okay.
So the part that is kind of like looks semi-normal is just going horizontal to the right.
And that's not really.
If you're trying to walk forwards, you like the part that you can see is just sliding like this. So I was like, what the fuck? I can't play like this. But I found the sliders for that filter, and you could turn it. So I turned it. So like, oh, I have like a path I can sort of see and go. Let's see.
Walking a friend through SWL for the first time, I give them these instructions. Do Tyler Freeborn last on Solomon Island? Yes, I agree, because Tyler Freeborn technically was released. I mean, in SWL, they did make it part of the leveling process, but it was technically like the last content to play on Solomon Island. I guess. So
technically,
I agree
it came after Transylvania. Because it was a DLC that came after, like you went back to the other zones.
Yeah, I say, but they put it into the leveling process, but without it gives you, if you do everything else first, you get more out of it. Still very good, Tyler Freeborn. I love some Tyler Freeborn. And don't touch that hologram in the City of the Sun God. And maybe do immersion after Transylvania, because they all released they all released after Transylvania originally.
Yeah, they did. Like it was meant to like you went back after you. So before Tokyo existed, it wasn't released yet. Like Transylvania happened, and then they released those issues where you would go back and revisit the earlier zones. We actually had a conversation about this on Discord the other day about how
do touch the hologram. I mean, you could go back and touch the hologram.
Yeah, but if you don't finish the mission, if you don't that fucking shit stays like he keeps rumbling and the voice happens nonstop forever wherever you are until you finish the mission. There's the loading screen with the tiny planet. That's the Agartha one.
Nice. That looks cool. As we were saying, like, yeah, who used sweet. To who was it that did these?
Look at this. Look at this. Dude, how fucking cool does that look?
Zuberi, calm down.
Now is not the time for argument.
It's right. Get to the next platform.
That might be my favorite one of the loading screens that I got pictures of.
That's cool.
Just because like the sort of like bobbleheadish thing.
Well, Zuberi's taken up almost the whole entire quarter.
Yeah, to touch it when you're ready, but don't never touch it. That is what.
That's what she said. But no. So if you do Angry Earth, and you get the the Jin's voice, right? And there's like that shaking and rumbling.
Yeah.
If you never complete the mission, like that shit just stays on permanently. Like you're wandering on a Garth and it's like shaking and the voice is happening like all the time. So that's one reason to not pick it up is if you
he's like, come on, won't you finish this already? Where are you going?
What's happened to people where they didn't realize that was like the cause? That they didn't realize that was the cause, and they just had this shit going on forever. Like, what the fuck? It's bugged. I'm like, it's not bugged. You need to finish the mission.
Yeah, just finish it already. Gosh, what are you doing over there? Be like,
yeah, I actually played a lot more
genie.
Time
I've
Planet
lived ages.
I did the faction missions. I got lost in the dark. Into Darkness, Tiny Planet was very difficult because I couldn't see where the fuck I was going and it was warped. I got lost in the Venetian Missile Crisis warehouses really bad. Rogue Agent was pretty easy. That was pretty chill.
Astrid says, honestly, worth the shaking to get to In the Dusty Dark, which is the actual best sabotage mission. I will not be hearing arguments for cost of magic.
Lies and slander. Blasphemy. Take them away. I'll have none of this.
Cost of magic as best sabotage?
Cost of magic is the best, period. There is nothing
Hot
else
take.
comes close. It's not just the best sabotage mission. Cost of magic, best mission.
Just best mission, period.
End of story.
You should do a top 10 best missions in the game.
I'll do like a tier list.
Yeah. Yes, a tier list. Yeah.
Do a tier list at like cost of magic S tier.
It's a wonderful mission, Shade.
I love cost of magic. I genuinely love cost of magic. Now, mind you,
I'm just saying from the more perspective of many people just hating cost of magic.
I broke. Did I break an Xbox controller trying to do it in TSW? Yes, I did. Did I hurt my hand punching an Xbox controller repeatedly? And yes, I did. Still best mission.
But when you finished it, the level of satisfaction from finishing it, it's like a hit of adrenaline.
I just like I like. I will say it got better. Or my computer got better. Like, it was a lot more difficult back when I did it in TSW. I think not because Legends made it better, but because my computer was better, so it was just more responsive.
Okay.
Because that could be a legit problem. Like,
is it because it has that like platforming part, and
most people just hate the platforming part, like specifically the disappearing platforms. Like technically, the Ask puzzle is platforming as well, but no one really complains about that. It's the disappearing ones in the air that people truly hate. I do actually feel also that TSW was slipperier. Yeah, that's a word. More slippery.
Okay.
TSW felt more slippery to me. I can't tell you the number of times I lost Sins of the Father achievement because I jumped over a wall, and as my character's feet hit the top of the wall, they hit it, slid sideways, and off onto a laser. And I was like, what the fuck is that? Like I just felt like I was like it.
What did you say?
Felt,
Like the number of times that you've done the junkyard jumping puzzle
a lava game.
lava game that
Yeah.
like you've come to very very closely understand how it determines where you are standing.
I know how all that should work.
Yeah, like
I'm
very
very
distinctly
fluent in
understand.
desync and server prediction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What counts as
And that's
floor
why
and what
sometimes you'd
doesn't.
be like, I made that jump, but it's like, no, you didn't make that jump, and it's because of it predicted
Yeah.
you were gonna be in a different place than where you were, and it predicted that based on
Your speed and
possible
momentum.
server, but also server connection at the time, and
Yeah,
other
it can be. It
factors,
definitely is worse.
latency.
If your latency is worse, the desync is gonna be worse. Like you just run it on a lower sprint. Technically, you can run all of lava. People, I mean, it's easier probably like at sprint 2, but you can do it at sprint 1. It's possible. And the
Mm-hmm.
thing is, the lower your sprint, right, the less distance the server is it's going to predict your speed and direction, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it's going to sync back up. But the faster you're going, right, the more it can potentially be off, right? Because it's going to predict in the next half second you're going to go this far because you're going this fast. If you're going slower, if you're on sprint 1, then it's going to be off by less. Even when it does desync, it's going to be off by less.
The faster you go, the more percentage of an error there is in your location.
Because now when it's off, it like predicted you. Oh, you went like 3 feet past the thing you're supposed to land on, as opposed to like, oh, you just didn't land on the middle of it. You landed it on the front hood, or the back hood of the car or something, right? Like,
right. And so it goes like, nope, you off. You didn't make the jump, and you're like, I did make the jump. My clients,
so
I see myself
is better
thing. Yeah.
In general, it's actually much harder to run. Like running that shit at sprint 6 is actually way more difficult because you're flying, and if at any point it's doing desync happens, like it's detecting you way the fuck off.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, slower is better. There was Icy Claws. Icy Claws. When I made that character to like hold Icy Claws, the first thing I did upon hitting Agartha at like level 4 and no sprint upgrade was run like literally finish the tutorial, go into Kingsmith, and I just ran straight there and did Lava Game first try. I just ran straight there. Lava Game champion.
Yeah, first try.
Brand new character to Lava Game speedrun. I didn't think of it like that at the time, but I guess that's technically what it was. It was like how fast can you
kind
play
of
Lava
was,
Game?
Yeah. Which also kind of points out the fact that yes, just using the sprint right out of the gate, you could do it.
Yeah, sprint 1, it's possible. Like,
yeah,
I'm not saying it's easier in the sense that you won't desync, but like the second to last jump is probably harder. That second to last jump is easier with a higher sprint because it's a very far jump and it's really easy to under jump on sprint 1. But it is doable, and then most things in the game are like built like that, right? Where it's technically possible, just easier with the higher sprint. Yeah, I love Costa Magic. I love Costa Magic. I have like an appreciation for Sins of the Father. Although that is, I guess the difference with Sins of the Father, people hate Costa Magic because you can't even. It's not even about the achievement. They're not trying to do the achievement. They just can't finish the mission, right?
They just can't do it. Yeah.
Sins of the Father, you can lose the achievement, but you can still do the mission. I think that's why it doesn't get as much hate. But as far as like trying to get the achievement, Sins of the Father is way fucking worse. Way fucking worse. The Costa Magic, you can fall off that floating platforms as many times as you want. The achievement will reset. You just go try again. Right? So achievement-wise, Costa Magic's way easier. Just because you can instantly retry it. Back in TSW days, even if you were a patron, like missions used to be like on a 3-day cooldown, and I was trying Sins of the Father achievement every 3rd day for fucking like 3 months. I got it on like 3 other alts before I got it on my main, because every time I went to do it on my main, something fucked up. And then I had to wait 3 days to do it again. And then I would run practice runs on other characters in between, and I would get it. I would get the achievement on other characters, and then go to run it on the main again, and just fucking fly into a laser randomly somehow. Or a camera just like decides you're there that it never detected you there before. Like Sins of the Father was like drove me fucking crazy.
Just threw you off completely.
C tier? No. It is S tier. It is S tier. It is S tier. Trying to think, what would even be C tier?
Do a list. Do a list. I'd like to see it.
Wait, there's a lot of missions in the game.
Mm-hmm.
I like most of the missions. I mean, does it have? Because C is like, I don't know, like Fistful of Zombies is probably like C tier, right? It's like a starter mission. It's fine, but it's not amazing.
Do it as like a YouTube Shorts sort of format where every short is you doing like a.
You know how long a tier list of the missions in Secret would take? Jesus Christ. That's going to be like a fucking 6-hour stream or something, not a short.
No, I mean like one mission per short. Like, in this mission you're doing this, blah, blah, blah. And for that reason, it goes in
Wetwork S tier?
B tier.
Dude, I have a special love for Wetwork because I solved it like myself on day 0 when it came out. Back in TSW, when if you were like the subscriber, you got the new content like 3 days early. So like literally like day 0 or day -3, like however you want to say it. Like, yeah, I have a special soft spot for Wetwork. I still would probably maybe make that like A tier. I don't know if I would put that S tier. I love that mission, but I'm
just thinking.
I don't know. Also investigation missions are different animals, right? Like, but there's some jank in that mission, not related to the actual investigation part. Like the investigation part and the deciphering the code stuff is awesome. There's some of the interactions with the Orochi fucking patroller dudes are fucking can be really irritating and just react not appropriately. I think it would knock it down a little bit for me.
C tier is Filth Surveil Guide due to the grammatical pain of the name, the lack of context in the mission itself, and being the only CDC computer-related side in Blue Mountain without a media pop-up. Oh, and the sudden mass of CDC agents when we already knew that the CDC team in Blue Mountain was way smaller than that, and now there's nameless additional CDC agents en masse. They're just all there. They just all, they just show up. It's fine.
Okay, I would say probably like the low tier would be like, I don't think it's not this one. I don't know if we're talking about the same one or not. Maybe not. I think the Minesweeper one in Blue Mountain, right? The Minesweeper side mission. The Minesweeper side mission is like got to be one of the fucking most annoying pieces of shit. Like everyone fucking hates that mission. Everyone hates that fucking thing. Although I don't know if I would rank. I don't think I would do a tier list with mains and sides. I think I would keep that separate.
Yeah, that seems. The only side that I was maybe consider as a main is the one in
F is Hellenbach? No, Hellenbach's not F.
Hellenbach's is the one F. In
I'm not saying okay, look. I'm not saying Hellenbach is S tier. I'm just saying Hellenbach is not F.
I'd put Hellenbach as like, I don't know, like B or a C. It is iconic. Hellenbach is iconic.
It's iconic. I know why people get frustrated with it. Much like Cost of Magic, I can understand why people get frustrated with it, but for me, I think it would still be like an A or a B. I think.
I mean, it even points you to a freaking YouTube like video.
Yeah, it's really good. The lore is really good. Like, do you think you would do different tier lists, like for like maybe just tier list the investigation missions against each other? And then tier list like the sabotage against it, or would you do all? Because I think all main missions would be a little weird because it's different. It's different criteria, right? What makes a sabotage mission good is not the same as what makes an investigation mission good.
It's true. They are different. I wonder
if it would make more sense to like separate them out and say like action, sabotage, investigation, side mission as like different lists.
I'm just thinking of that idea because there's a channel that I've been watching on YouTube of this guy who lives in Japan, and there's like a famous shopping street in Japan, and he's ranking all the restaurants in that shopping list on a tier list. And I'm just thinking of that same context of like, and he's doing it all through shorts. So it's just like he goes in, he tries the one thing, he makes a short of like the one restaurant, and then he ranks it, and it's just a continual ongoing tier list. And I'm like, something like that, like a format like that, I think would actually work really well.
Yeah, is Treasure Hunt what that one called, Bomber? Because that is like F tier. Treasure Hunt is F tier. That shit is so bad that back in TSW when all monster achievements were 10k kill achievements, no one found the farming method in that side mission until I did, and that was years later. They're like, what was it? The Badgers had like the 10k stuff. Like, I found a new unknown 10k farming thing because no one fucking plays that mission. Like, it's
they were
so
like, this is
annoying.
the best way to farm it, and you're like, wait, but there's this mission over here that is really good at it, and they're like, listen, we don't want that mission, so
no, like no one ever discovered it. Wait, no, what you don't like Antenna? Astrid, how we are so far apart. So far apart.
No.
Also, Antenna's tricky. Antenna's tricky to rank because Antenna is both a side mission and an investigation mission. So I don't know.
I will agree with this. They reclassified it in Secret World Legends, as it should have been, because that is an investigation mission.
It is, yeah.
And that is the only investigation mission that in the original Secret World I cheated on and looked up the answer.
I solved that entire thing correctly.
I didn't, because
analogically.
It was a side mission. It was late at night. I was like, oh, I'll just do one more side mission to log off. Let me pick up that side mission. And I started doing it, and then I was like, wait, no.
What the fuck is this?
What is this doing? What? Wait, hold on. Wait, this. And I was like, oh. And I was like, no, I have to finish this before I go to bed.
Fucking amazing.
It was like 2:00 in the morning. I'm like, I have to finish this before I go to bed. Signal effect. Yeah, signal effect. That's what I mean. Yeah. And it was like, I have to finish this before I go to bed. And after a while, I was like, nope, can't do it. Let me just look up the answer.
It's so good. It's so good.
It's so good, but only screw it because it was misclassified. That was an investigation mission. That should not have been a side mission. If I had saw this is an investigation mission, I would have been like, okay, no, I'm not doing that tonight. I'm gonna put that aside.
But honestly, okay, here's the thing.
Wait
I
until
don't
another
think
day.
that one takes that long to solve. I generally don't think that one takes that long to solve. That's not like a Wetworks thing. Like, and Signal Effect's not that difficult.
Right, and in Secret World, right, it's an investigation side. It's like the only mission that's an investigation side mission.
No. Yeah, there's like 3 of them or something. Well, there's at
Are
least
there?
3.
I know there's one side mission. There's one in Kingsmith.
Like Bomber just mentioned too. There's Foundations in Heavy Metal. There's more, I think.
Oh,
They have green icons. You can tell when a side mission in Legends is investigation because the side mission icon is green.
I don't know if I've ever really. The only one, maybe those they just passed through me. Like they weren't even like, okay, I need to look something up, but it's not the end of the world and blah blah blah. You know.
Like
I never put the other ones, but Signal Effect I always thought deserved.
This is the real game. Like, no.
The real game? No, I'm sorry. Yeah.
I know what I'm talking about. Like,
Jimmy, I'll leave this one to you.
Side-by-side playthrough of both games at the same fucking time.
Jimmy ran a side-by-side playthrough where he had both of them on the screen at the same time, and he was playing, did one mission on one, did one mission on the other. And not even even the full mission, like the small parts of the mission. Just and played them literally side by side to give them the full comparison.
I mean, on top of playing TSW for thousands of hours before Legends ever came out, playing Legends for thousands of hours, and then playing both of them side by side. If anyone knows about the 2 versions of the game, and knows that Jack Boone has water in Legends and he didn't in TSW, like, that's me.
Like, gave the dude water. Like,
Legends
listen,
is a better version of the game.
Like, listen, we all started on TSW. There's no
Dude, I
denying
fucking
it
finished
has.
TSW. I finished the museum. I finished the museum twice, once in each game.
Like, there's no denying it has a place in our hearts. SWL is better, yes.
I genuinely feel SWL is better.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Less raids, less nightmare dungeons. I have 17,000 hours between the two games. I genuinely feel Legends is better. I mean, are the two Aegis raids good? Yes. The Aegis. Here's the problem. Aegis mechanics in the raids and the dungeons were great. The Aegis system was fucking horseshit.
Agree.
Yeah, we did get Penthouse back in Legends. And this is the other thing. Yes, we have technically less Nightmare dungeons, but we now have a Nightmare Plus. Those dungeons all have a new difficulty level, as does the raid. The raid has a new difficulty level. So our New York raid is actually harder than the Aegis raid in TSW. We don't have the other two raids. That's unfortunate. We have a lair. We have a Kaiden lair, which those gates never opened in TSW.
I think I was talking with somebody on.
It's beyond that.
Sorry.
Beyond the stuff that like one has or one doesn't have, it's got so much more improvements in like quality of life improvements.
Mm-hmm.
The systems are better, in my opinion. They have more depth. It's not as easy to see on the surface, and a lot of people will see like, oh, less actives, less passives, and just think there's less depth. Yes, it does have the future development, though. It actually did get more development. The last major rebalance patch was 2 years ago, and it's basically on the back burner. Like Joel has said as much. Not that they don't want to go back and do it, but they have Exiles and they've got Dune, so they have all hands occupied at the moment.
That's true. And even then, as we said, Dune is
not getting new content ever.
Even Exiles is scaling back right now as well. So
yeah,
you know.
But like the systems, the systems are more complex than is viewable on the surface. Whereas the opposite is true of TSW. TSW appears like it has more complexity, and then turns out it kind of actually doesn't. Anyone that plays TSW for any length of time realizes that like 2/3 of the ability wheel is fucking useless shit. It's just filler to fill out the wheel.
Yeah, I call that the illusion of choice, where they give you a whole bunch of choices, but only a couple of them are viable.
Not just viable, but like a lot of them are just like, oh, it does the same thing as something else later, right? Mm-hmm. Like there's like 2 versions of the same ability. Then the other weapon has also 2 versions of that same kind of thing. Like there's a lot of filler. It makes it look like you can do a bunch of different stuff. Mm-hmm. In reality, you're not going to use like 70% of it.
Yeah.
Whereas in Legends, it's deceptively simple because you've got less actives and less passives, but arguably that means that you have to make harder choices. So every build is more different because just changing one thing matters more drastically.
Mm-hmm.
That's Double Dragon, not the side-by-side playthrough. Wrong side-by-side playthrough.
Wrong, right?
That's just me playing 2 characters at the same time. But yeah, in Legends, the interactions between the weapon mechanics, which didn't exist in TSW, and the abilities, and the passives, and the effects on the talismans, and the weapons with their own effects on the mechanic. The weapons themselves can have interactions with the mechanics. You can have 2 people running like the same weapon combo and be like completely alien builds. And sometimes even opposite, like goals. Mm-hmm. Right? Like you can be running it like Ellie build that's based on heat or one that's based on cold.
Yeah.
For example, right? Like here's the difference, right? Anarchy Online got a patch like fucking 20 years later. But you know what's not ever getting a patch is the old version of Secret World, because they made a new version. They did, like they relaunched it. And arguably, they should have just fucking ditched TSW. As much as I love TSW, I spent years in TSW. And way too many hours.
I want
They
to
should
say
have just said, like, this is version 2.0, and there is no like you know what I mean? Like at a certain point, you just go like, this is the upgrade, and you just shut it off.
I mentioned something about Secret World on Blue Sky, and I had a couple people be like, "Oh, the same kind of concept of like, oh, but Secret World was, TSW was better, and so we're not even going to touch it, and etc." And I think Varmer, at one point, you mentioned something to that same person about some Dark Agartha lore, and they were like, "What are you talking about?" Like. they're like, oh, it was something like what the gatekeeper was, and you were like, oh, well, the gatekeeper was a like third age tech. Like the gatekeeper was created in the third age, yes, and it was like, well, how would we have known that? It's like because it's part of the lore. It's part of the but he wouldn't know that if he's never touched SWL, right?
Well, because it got updates. It's not like it didn't get updates. Yes, the last one was like 2 years ago now, but also the last one was like the fucking biggest thing they ever did, in my opinion. The last one had 9,000 word patch note. Like,
it's true, yeah, and but it's like, we all started there. We all started on Secret World. Part of the reason why we love Secret World Legends is because we love Secret World. Like there's a correlation there.
Yeah.
And yes, we would love to see the content that's not here, that was in TSW. We would love to see that here. But at a certain point, that's not reality. They're not going to put money into that if it doesn't make a return on investment.
And that's the reason that Legends happened, is because TSW was not making
return. Yeah, it was not making money. And just the engine alone was not sustainable. Like just the engine and what it did with your inventory.
And this is one of the interesting things that people don't know about, don't realize about Legends, is the way the inventory system, and not just inventory system, the way the gear upgrade systems work is directly related to improving the performance of the game.
Yes.
The reason that your gear is used to upgrade your other gear, and it's an amazing system in my opinion, but part of the reason is it prevents inventory clutter, because you're constantly using that stuff to upgrade other stuff, right? TSW, when I did that, especially when I did the side-by-side, holy shit, it's awful. Like, my inventory is constantly full of shit that I had to keep, because you need fucking 50 of everything to combine, and then you're constantly throwing away. This is the other thing. In Legends, if you find a weapon you like, you can just keep upgrading it. You get new stuff, it collapses into this, you fuse it together to upgrade the next thing, right? In TSW, every time I went to a new zone, I was having to build a new weapon, and I had the other one sitting in my fucking inventory.
Hey, Cricket,
you just throw it away. You're like, oh, I'm a level higher now. I guess I better make a new pistol that's a little bit better, and then it's just fucking cluttered.
It's terribly chaotic.
And the inventory directly affects the number of items, both in your inventory and in everyone's inventory around you, directly impacts the performance of the game.
Yeah.
That's how the engine functions.
That's why when they were like, we're going to have those big bosses in the whatever, it was a great idea to have these big bosses, bring players together into a zone, defeat the big boss. Excellent. People loved it. It was a slideshow. Yeah, it was a slideshow. One of my favorite stories is there was one time we did that in Secret World with Antita, and I want to say it was like Antita was there, Griff was there, and we defeated the boss. We defeated it, and then we were hanging around, and it was something like the boss wasn't actually defeated on their screen for another 5 minutes. It was a disgusting length of time in between when the boss was actually defeated and when they were defeated on their screen. It was almost 5-10 minutes later, and they're like, all right, and the boss is down. And I was like, what the heck are you talking about?
Waffle?
That boss was out of there a while ago.
You care to share your opinion?
No. Nope.
Are you sure?
No opinion.
Waffle,
Nope,
do you have an opinion?
I'm staying out of it.
Drink Ovaltine.
Drink Ovaltine is not an opinion, sir. That is a commercial.
I think I know Waffle's
you
opinion.
can't find the
He's said
login
it before,
rewards.
but I'm not going to put words in his
Waffle.
mouth.
I know you can't find the login rewards in Legends, but even so, I think
you keep harping on these login rewards. They do not exist.
What login rewards?
I have proof. Look.
Yeah, I see the pretty present box that you haven't clicked in like 6 months.
Oh, it's been longer than
that. He's like 6 months. That's cute.
No, what he should say is what login reward button.
Like, I don't know what that button is.
No, that present there it's a present from the devs of Funcom. It says thank you for playing our game. It's like a little badge of honor.
It's like you should get whoever is like a mod maker for Secret World to make him a mod just to like, I don't know, put like his face on it or something. Put like something other than the put like a little no symbol around it. Yeah.
It's a button that does nothing.
Disables it entirely.
Yep.
Have you ever wanted to disable your login rewards? Have I got a mod for you?
I was saying, but no, it's a I am of the opinion
that Bomber's got it. Yeah.
That same idea of like, yeah, they should have they were doing their community a disservice by splitting the community as they did. They split the community.
It was not a good decision. It just really wasn't. Like, I mean, a good example of doing it correctly is Overwatch to Overwatch 2. Whether you liked what they did with Overwatch 2 or not is irrelevant. Like, the fact is they didn't keep Overwatch 1 hanging around, right? It's Overwatch and Overwatch 2, and you can't just go play Overwatch. And the reason is, if they had kept it, you goddamn know that they would have bifurcated their fucking community. There are people that have been like, right. I'm going to 2, and people that I'm going to 1. They bring back Overwatch. Well, the 6v6, 5v5 is like an ongoing thing, and as my understanding is, 6v6 is still a arcade mode thing right now. I don't know if they're actually going to go back to it fully or not. I've actually been playing Overwatch again. I also play Overwatch a lot.
That's a good example of Armor. Yes, Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn versus Final Fantasy XIV 1.0. A lot of people forget that Final Fantasy XIV, they put it up, they released it. It was
Marvel Rivals. Do you have to do it from 2 accounts?
Oh, no, it goes to YouTube and Twitch.
Oh, okay, that's what it is. It's YouTube and Twitch. Like, what the hell?
Yeah,
like to play
they basically took Final Fantasy XIV offline for a long time and then relaunched it as A Realm Reborn, and it like exploded in popularity.
So the point is, like, whether you like what Legends did or not, I feel like they shot themselves in the foot specifically by not being like, okay, everyone's going to Legends or you're just not playing. Because and for two reasons. One, if there's no other choice and you like the story, all the story is here. If you're gonna play it, you're gonna play it here. Number one, you're not splitting your base, right? Which is stupid to do. And number two, it would have encouraged. I think it would have meant a better chance of success, a better chance of additional and like people spending money in the game in order so it would have continued to get further content. Like me and Waffle like it vanilla.
I'm just a classic Andy. I'm stuck on classic EverQuest and TSW
the things
Classic.
I hear about,
and I get that. I get that.
I don't know if I'd call that vanilla. It's not safe for TV. Like it's okay. It's also it it performs way worse. TSW perform like Legends got an engine upgrade. Also, like I mentioned, the inventory and gear systems in Legends are meant to deal with the fact that they now understand. You know that in TSW they didn't even know like that the inventories was causing a performance problem until like the last year of TSW. They just didn't know, and then at some point they determined like, oh shit, everyone having 500 things on them at all times is fucking dragging everyone's collective performance down. That was stupid.
They looked into basically,
right?
they're like, why is everyone having all these performance issues? And they looked into it and they were like, oh, it's the engine. Oh.
Yeah, it's literally like here's the thing. If you're still playing TSW, okay? If you're still playing TSW, make everyone put their fucking shit in their bank and stop carrying it into the raid. You'll get better performance. Your fucking client is trying to render, like it's trying to grab the inventory of everything fucking around you. Like at all times. That includes also dressing room, by the way.
Yeah,
That's why
it's
even
not
in
just
Legends,
your inventory. It's your whole dressing
Legends,
room.
and you jump into Agartha, your client will chug like a motherfucker in background downloads because it's trying to grab everyone's goddamn outfit inventory around you. No, but look, it's not about 20 to 30 people. Like, yes, that makes a difference if you guys go do like a world boss or something. It's probably a lot better. But the point is, even a raid in TSW, 10 people in the raid. Oh, okay, actually, there's more problems than that. We also have since figured out, which by the way, this did not happen until the last rebalance patch, like 2 years ago. Was discovered why New York Raid lags so goddamn much. That has to do with the filth. The filth on the floor, even when it interacts with the filth enemies that spawn, like the little dudes that run around in the in between waves, like it renders it on their pants at like fucking 2000 resolution or something, like for some stupid reason, like, or it was. New York Raid performance, even the additional nightmare level in Legends is way better than TSW Aegis New York Raid because they finally figured out the fuck was causing New York Raid performance to tank, and it's like memory leaks and literally filth rendering at like astronomical levels for no really good reason.
Yeah.
Like it literally was like, oh, we're gonna render the filth hitting the pants on the filth guy walking through it at like some ginormous level, then scale it down or some bullshit like that.
Like I remember we had conversations with Tilty about this. There was basically like, it was literally untenable. If they kept expanding TSW, the engine itself could not handle it. It just couldn't. It absolutely could not. The problems that they were having, the game was...
They were foundational. They were foundational problems. They were literally born of the fact that the creative designer and the systems designer, when creating TSW, fucking hated each other.
And never communicated
each other. So the creative designer would be like, I want to do like, 40v40v40 in PvP. And any fucking system designer would have gone like, your system can't do that, dude. You need to scale it down. But they hate each other, wouldn't talk. So they would just like, okay, fine. And they do it. And then it fucking performs like ass because it never could do that in the first place. So Legends is like actually designed by people that, well, I mean, it's still the TSW team. It's not like it was a fucking different team. So this is the other thing that bothers me when people are like, oh, I don't like Legends because like somehow it's like not TSW. It's those guys that worked on the game for years that finally had a chance to like get a do-over and do things like correctly from the beginning. They made massive systemic changes to how the gear and upgrade and inventory systems worked with all that knowledge of their TSO development time in mind. It's a better functioning product, period. From like a technical perspective, it is better. Like that's not even in question. But also from a flow perspective, it's better. When I was doing the side-by-side playthrough, like it was very clear early on of side-by-side playthrough, and it kept going through as I did it, that like TSW was designed as like a subscription MMO. It was designed that way. It was designed to eat your time. because you're gonna subscribe and you need shit to do. And when they changed the payment model, right? Because they did to like buy to play, all of a sudden that shit becomes fucking tedious. Because you're spending money for the game, and then it's just draining your time for like no really good like reason, right?
Yeah.
And it was clear to see, like, it was always leg day in TSW. Every mission made you run all over the fucking place. It was just to eat your time. And in Legends, like, it's the same mission, but they're designed differently. In the sense of, like, Norma's mission where you go pick up zombie body parts. In TSW, you have to run all over goddamn creation. Like, if you want the dry rotted parts, you need to go to the fucking church. If you want this part, you gotta go way the fuck there. Like, you're just going all over the fucking map to come back to Norma. Whereas in Legends, it's like, oh, the dry ones are back here. Like, everything's within like a certain, I mean, like sizable radius. But you're not leaving the southern part where Norma is to go find zombies in the upper corner of the map. You don't need to. Fusang Project had a 225 player cap. Yeah, that's why when they did the oh god, what was it? Like the Golem event, and you went to get the Fusang Golem, that shit was just a goddamn PowerPoint presentation. Sometimes not even that. Fusang was fucking up. Fusang had 2 modes. So many fucking people the thing didn't actually work at all. Or, again, leg day. I'm running for goddamn 5 minutes before I see a soul, and then we shoot each other. Someone dies in like 15 seconds, and we respawn and have to jog 5 more minutes to find someone again to kill. Like, that was the 2 modes of Fusang.
That is literally my experience of Fusang. I think I only had one good experience in Fusang with like a group, and we were all together and whatnot. Every other time, it was like, I'm going to run that direction. And just run, and then just like get one shot.
I will say this: as I'm dragon. As fucking shitty as the jogging outfits were, they were technically the best for Fusang. Technically, dragons had the best outfit for Fusang because they had their jogging attire.
Right, as Illuminati, you try running in that gas mask. Yeah, it's not great.
Like, and okay, I'm a challenge addict. I played Fusang every single day. Because it'd be a fucking challenge on the daily challenge thing. Like, I was in Fusang every single day anyways, like, no matter what. Right? And then I also did play with some people that did Fusang. Like, I did all the content all the time. Fusang is a cool idea that the system cannot handle, never could handle.
It was a cool as shit map.
And sometimes had cool moments. You would sometimes get, like, this cool thing where, like you got, like, 3 or 5 people, and there's 3 or 5 other guys, and then like you're battling over a gate. Like every so often you get like these sparks of like, oh man, what could this be? And then, but like 90% of the time it's not that. And you have like that one moment living rent free in your head. We're like, oh, remember that time when I fucking used chaotic pull and pulled 3 people into the gate and they just fucking insta died? Holy shit, that was fucking cool.
Yeah,
because you could just pull people to the gate and it would like kill you if you ran into the gate that was up. Like, it's not that there wasn't cool shit in TSW, it's that like the system the system could not build the vision that was had for it, and no one tamped down the vision so it was actually like a presentable thing. And Legends was built like they built the mega boss, summoning area. That thing is like, hey, guess what? Your FPS is not going to drop to 2 when you find a mega boss.
Yeah. Because not only is everyone's inventory less, we're also capping the inventory.
We're capping the space. Like, you're not rendering all of Kingsmith, right? You're in the mega boss summoning area, right? Like, it's a zone that has like basically nothing in it. It's an Agartha platform you to fight the boss on, because now it doesn't have to do a bunch of shit. And then 100 people can be in Kingsmith at once, dude. Whenever there was a shit ton of people in there, like everything just ran to shit. Whereas in Legends, like, you have player caps on the instances, which also does make it feel better. It makes it feel like Kingsmith is like this,
it makes it feel, part of the whole horror aspect is loneliness to an extent. Like, part of the whole feeling is that, it's not just like people running everywhere, and yet you will still go into Kingsmith and you will still see other people. I see other people all the time in Kingsmith.
Part of that is because of the system. The way the system works is it will for one, it tries to fill them. It's not just going to try and give you your own Kingsmith, right? Like
Right.
it's going to try and put you in one. But on top of that, it will try and put you in ones if someone is on your friend or cabal list. So you are more apt to see people that you're friends with or in your group, right? In a random zone, which is funny when we didn't realize how that worked initially in Legends. Because we'd be like, God damn it, you're stepping on my toes in Scorched Desert again. I'm trying to run my mission chain, and you're like right in front of me killing the guy. And it's like the person you know, you're like, hey, what are you doing here? I'm trying to do my shit.
Yeah, what are you doing over here?
And like,
why are we together?
Yeah, and it's like, oh, actually it prioritizes, which is actually really cool that, you'll just randomly bump into your friend out in the world more often than not.
But Kev, specifically, like you say, going back to your comment where you say you're a classic player, you like classic EverQuest, TSW classic. I'm actually sort of the same way. Whenever I see a game, it's like, we're remaking it. The game's being remade. And I'm like, why? Why do you need to remake these games? I love retro games. I'm like, I sometimes prefer retro games. I love the idea of like needing something to be remade, or like sometimes it's like it is good as it is. Like what's like Final Fantasy remake. I know a lot of people like it. I'm like, why? Why do you need to remake it? So the characters look like 6 blocks shoved together like a Lego piece. Who cares? Like the story is still good. There's lots of it that is still quite excellent. That it's like, why do you need all that? It really is good the way that it is, or that it was. Like, sure, but but they still made it, and they still got a lot of money because people like remakes. But I sort of agree with that. I sort of like, I would much rather have the original. I would much rather have and it's also right, technically not a 1-to-1 remake. You take what made the game really good when it came out, and you're like, oh, we'll just try it again over here. Well, it won't work the same way because it's a different game, it's a different time, it's a different audience, it's a different socio-political situations. It's different. The entire thing is different. It's like trying to make lightning strike twice.
Problem with TSW is lightning never struck in the first place.
Yeah, but that's the thing is, but I agree with Jimmy on this one that Secret World Legends is better. As much as I love TSW, as much as I played a whole bunch of TSW, I think Secret World Legends is better. But I am of that idea of like, I don't like remakes. I just don't. I don't like remakes.
Well, that's the thing too, is like it's not a remake in the sense of like, I don't know, like Last of Us remake or some shit like that, right? Legends is not a remake of TSW. It is a 2.0. It is an upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
It's like an engine upgrade. It's a systems
upgrade.
But
it is basically like, it's the same story. It's the same characters. It's the same.
Well, and then it's expanded. To be clear, it's the same fucking game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I don't know, like some people genuinely don't know this, but like you can just patch between TSW and Legends back and forth.
You can, yeah.
It literally is like a one-line change. It's a one-line change to patch between the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a 9 gig difference, I think, in the actual like data, but it's the same client. It's just like an upgraded version. Like they didn't it's not like they built Legends separately and said we're going to launch Legends to replace TSW. Like it is TSW. It's literally TSW 2.0.
Mm-hmm. It is an SWO action combat. It is.
So is TSW.
so is TSW. Okay, TSW was builders. Well, TSW was builders and releasers, right? It was, you have the building, and then builders and consumers, right?
First of all, yes, but it depended on the weapon because they work differently. Which weapons you did?
Consumers, yeah, that's what I meant.
Action cam versus. Oh, you mean the reticle? You mean reticle versus tab target? Yeah, it was always action cam, but like, yes, you target things with the reticle versus tab
targeting.
Yeah,
but let me tell you, I remember.
Technically, I think it's still technically tab target under the hood. It's just using the reticle to do it.
But if you
Like,
asked a whole
that's
bunch
the
of
thing.
people,
It's the system.
yeah,
like
it is tab target
it's
under
the
the hood. It
same.
is.
It's the same
Yeah.
engine. I mean, it technically is actually a minor upgrade of the Dreamworld engine, right? But it's the same. Like they didn't fucking start over. It's TSW with like they gutted some shit and like added some shit. Like you know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
it's TSW but like upgraded. That's literally what it is.
It's almost like auto tab. It's like, you know, putting your reticle over the thing and like auto tabs it.
Well, it's
basically
why they made champions taller physically.
Mm-hmm.
They made champions taller physically so that you could put your reticle over their head. And it wouldn't get lost in the crowd, right? Like, because also, I'm just gonna say this because like this probably at least partially impacts how I view them. Is I played TSW with an Xbox controller because I fucking hated the control scheme. So I play TSW with an Xbox controller the same way I play Legends with an Xbox controller. There is like virtually no difference to me. Because when I went from TSW to Legends, it was not different for me. If anything, it was mildly smoother. But like I played the same way. I basically played the same. It's just I had to like hit the shoulder button to make it cycle tab through shit. So,
but I remember a long time ago, while TSW was still going on, one of the biggest
also,
criticisms,
like Waffle, like if Waffle hits Alt, right? Like you move the mouse around. That's what TSW is. That's just what TSW is. Is that TSW is Alt mode.
But I remember one of the biggest criticisms that people had of TSW was the time to kill ratio. They were like, it took. There were so many complaints, especially when people hit Blue Mountain, of just how long it took to kill things. They were like, it takes forever to kill things, and then all of a sudden, if you have another enemy that just comes out of nowhere, you're spending so much more time in combat. And there was a lot of people who did not like playing Secret World, did not like playing the original TSW because that time to kill was so long. It was
Okay,
it was
part of that
yes,
is
go ahead.
because TSW, not because part of that issue is not because you couldn't have fast time to kill in TSW. It's because you can make the shittiest goddamn build imaginable in TSW.
Right, which then
And
wraps
then your
back
time
into
to kill
the
is super fucking high.
which then runs back into the
Legends is
illusion of
harder
choice.
to do
Yeah.
so. It's much harder to make yourself an actual shit build in Legends.
They took out the illusion of choice and they made it actual choice.
Yeah, and you
And
can't
then there's
like
so
just
much more.
put it shit that doesn't work.
Then the anima allocation is a
The
brilliant
anima
system.
allocation is goddamn best thing in the world. Like
it's a brilliant system.
That's so amazing to me, still to this day. The fact that you can dynamically change your stats on your talismans between tank, support, DPS, like is and like not have to have 3 full sets of gear is amazing. Or that you can just do it on the fly. Like you like it's not a cost. You don't have to go like pay to change your talisman to another one. Like you're just like, nah, I want to be 80-20. I want to be 75-30. Like I want or not 75-30, sorry.
Yeah, it's like I want to give myself more survivability. So I pull back the survivability, drop the damage a little bit. You can do it on the fly.
Yeah, technically that's the thing, Ron right. Like we do have tab targeting for friendly targets. Like you do tab targeting is in the game because you use it to target like your friends. Like that's the thing. I'm like 90% confident the reticle is just it's essentially auto tab targeting under the hood. Just picture the reticle is your mouse and it's just stuck in the middle of the screen. Like that's what's happening.
And whatever it goes over, if it goes over an enemy, well, that enemy is now tabbed.
To. Yeah, that's essentially what's happening.
Yeah. So I mean, but we've gone over this argument how many times because we've
also
had it
by the way
so many times over the years.
I played through Secret World in first person. You could do that technically in TSW as well. You could scroll all the way in, so where like you're like literally in first person mode. But I played all the way through Legends, 100% run as first person shooter with assault rifle, you know, and the mod that showed they had like the combat reticle mod. So some of the bars at the bottom they're like circles, like around. right? So you're seeing your energy go up and down like this.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, to your point about the consumer builder thing is like I think some people get lost on that. Is like one, not all weapons work the same in TSW. Like some started with resources and you had to build. Some you like pistol built resources on the enemy, which by the way, stupidest fucking thing in the world. I liked playing pistols. I hated that about it though, because you load up resource, like you build resources on the enemy and then he dies before you get a chance to use them. And it's such a fucking waste. Like it's so stupid. Whereas like other ones, you build it on the weapon, right itself. Like hammer always started full, I think, and then you spent them and then you built. Whereas, but the thing is in Legends, the energy system is essentially the same thing. It's front-loaded damage. You're basically like everyone's basically playing like how hammer works in TSW. You start with energy, you burn it, and the thing is, your basic doesn't use energy, but your energy passively regenerates. So essentially, while you're using your basic, you are essentially building, because you're not using energy as your energy regens over time. So if you spend 5 seconds using your basic, you've essentially built for 5 seconds, right?
Your energy, yeah.
Now, you can choose to stand there and not do anything and just be an idiot, but like essentially you're building. You're building with a non-energy consuming ability while your energy regens, and then you consume. So it technically is like the same thing.
Okay.
Just
I can see that.
Viewed differently. And again, at least we don't have building resources on an enemy, because holy fuck, that's stupid. Especially in group content, where like I'm working on an enemy, I've just built 5 resources and I'm about to use an ability, and your teammate comes over and one-shots him, and you're like, dude, I just spent like 15 seconds building my shit to unleash, and now I'm sitting here all, erectile dysfunction mode, like what the fuck? I hated that so much. And it was like per weapon was different, like how they decided to do that. All my resources gone and nothing happened.
Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah, so you won't find any SWL hate here. And that should make sense because
we're running a podcast for Secret World
in
the year of our Lord 2025.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
We've been doing this show
Power
for
World podcast.
How many years? I've been doing this show for Secret World.
World?
Yeah, that's what we're supposed to be doing, right?
Pal World. Oh, sorry, man. Yeah. I thought you meant this was
Pal World. I thought this was Paladins. We're not doing Paladins?
No.
Oh no, I thought this was TSW, Train Sim World.
Dude, I used to use hashtag TSW, and then I would get these things, and I'm like, what the fuck is all this? And then it was the train shit.
It's Train Sim,
like,
yeah.
No joke.
I always loved that one. Train Sim World.
I used to do TSW, and I had to stop. I had to start spelling it out for the hashtag because that was a legit problem.
In Train Sim World, when they released it, I remember when they released it because they released it as like TSW Train Sim World.
So,
I was like, okay, you kidding me?
So we're a secret. We're the evolution of Beyond the Veil, right? Like we were Beyond the Veil, the originators of Beyond the Veil podcast. Eventually left, and we decided, it didn't necessarily feel correct to be like not the original people and still do the title.
Right. It was honoring them.
We gave them a nice send off. They were actually here for it,
Yeah, it was honoring them and their accomplishments with what they did, and yeah.
And in doing so, we also realized like Secret World is, even though when we did that, it was still getting some content, it was very slow. It's like you can't do this thing just for that. But we all like Funcom's content in general, so we basically kind of expanded to be Secret World primarily focused, but we kind of cover like everything Funcom's doing.
Yeah.
In part because we like pretty much everything that they're working on, but also because anything Funcom's doing is going to somehow indirectly affect Secret World, right? Whether it's like, well, we're not getting more attention because Dune's happening, right?
Right. Be like,
whatever,
all right, or for a while there was, well, Conan Exiles is exploding, so they're putting all their eggs in Conan Exiles' basket, which makes sense. you know,
So we
we'd
basically
like
cover
to get more
Funcom
content over here.
properties in general, but from like a Secret World based lens. And I am massively looking forward to Dune because, if for no other reason, then they rehired Scrivedomancer, writer from Secret World fame, to write for the Dune game, and that's fucking amazing. Can't wait to read his stuff in Dune.
And oh god, I was so pissed when because they hired Scrivedomancer to do writing for Amazon was going to make a Lord of the Rings game, like MMO, and they hired Scrivedomancer to do writing to do writing for Lord of the Rings, and it's like
I saw that moment. I saw
like,
that.
Oh.
That's got to feel awesome though, right? For Scriv, I mean, that's got to feel awesome to like be writing something with a voice or like a picture in your head, and then they actually get the person. You know what I mean? Like imagine you're writing a part and you're like, I'm clearly writing Samuel L. Jackson, but it's never gonna happen, right? And then Samuel L. Jackson like takes it and you're like, holy fuck, right? I imagine, like, I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm just saying I imagine that's what it's like, is like in your head, you're like, this is clearly who I'm envisioning, but that's never gonna fucking happen. And
who got these motherfucking sandworms on this motherfucking plane?
Sandworms on a plane. That needs to be a meme, like right now.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sure that had to be that. Yeah, that had to feel awesome. That would be great.
Yeah.
An ornithopter. True.
That's right.
Sandworms
These
on
motherfucking sandworms on this motherfucking plane on this motherfucking ornithopter.
You fucked it up again.
I used to play it again.
Ornithopter.
Be like, yes, I wrote that line for Samuel L. Jackson, and they got Samuel L. Jackson. Hell yeah, feels good.
I think that actually happened with what was that movie with it was him and I think Travolta, like military base like investigation movie. What the fuck was that called? I think the guy that wrote that script, like, I think he wrote it, and then they got Samuel L. Jackson, and then they changed the script because the character was supposed to die. And they're like, you can't kill Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah,
you're not allowed to do that.
No,
and so they actually changed the script because they got him.
I mean, heck, they had to change the lore of Star Wars in general because Samuel L. Jackson was like, I want a purple lightsaber, make it happen. And they were like, okay. Like up to that point, lightsabers were just like blue, green, and red.
Basic. I think it was called Basic. Yeah.
And Samuel L. Jackson was like, I want a purple lightsaber. And they were like, oh, okay. Changing the lore of Star Wars forever.
Yeah. Samuel Jackson and John Travolta. It's a movie called Basic. The guy that wrote that, like, Samuel's character was not supposed to survive. Like, there's a twist in the... Spoiler for like a fucking ancient ass movie from 2003. 22 years ago. There's like a twist, but like he's not dead, guys. Sorry.
They're like, yeah, sorry, he's not dying. Spoilers.
Jimmy, I can't believe you did that.
I mean, listen, you had 22 years. You could have had a fucking kid and had them watch the movie by now. That's all I'm saying.
I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed.
Spoilers, gosh.
But yeah, I think when he wrote that, there was no way he was getting Samuel Jackson, and then they got Samuel Jackson, and they were like, "Oh my god!" And they're like, but you can't kill him. That doesn't work.
We can't kill him.
You can't kill Samuel Jackson. You're not allowed to do that. He's like, "Oh, shit." So he had to rewrite the part.
But it's true, Vomer. I did see that. Yeah, Script saying that. Yeah, talking about how he was writing a character with a certain voice actor in mind, and then they got the voice actor. Yeah,
it's got to fucking feel amazing.
But even stuff like Funcom published Aloft, just released in early access 2 days ago, and I've heard good things. I haven't got it yet, but yeah, I'm thinking about it. Like it's got a lot of good reviews so far.
The visuals didn't necessarily sell me, but I think if it's what I'm thinking of, I think the sound kind of did maybe.
The sound of Aloft?
Yeah.
Of the wind?
Yeah. Like whatever the
I think I was looking at
background,
the trailer.
like,
there's a lot of wind. Wind is everywhere.
no, yeah, but there's like ambient like music or something. There's something. It's not. It's like, dude, it's not literally just wind. It's not the Dune trailer. No, but it had like a very like kind of like mellow vibe, you know.
Mm-hmm. Oh, very,
It
yeah.
reminded
And
me
that's sort
a
of
little bit of oh god, what is the bridge building game? Fuck, why can't I think of it?
The
bridge building game.
Yeah, there's a bridge building game.
Bridge Simulator.
Polybridge. Polybridge. You guys haven't played Polybridge?
No, I'm not even sure I even heard that one.
The best building bridge game. Polybridge is fucking great, and part of what makes it really great is just the music. It's got this super chill music in the background while you're building the bridge that, like, I could just sit there trying to construct a bridge that, like, with the stress points, the little thing can go across and complete the goal of whatever that area is.
Okay.
For like hours. It's so chill. It's like Polybridge is like meditation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm gonna make really strong triangles and listen to really chill
and just chill like, simultaneously
kind of music. Just like,
yeah,
I'm building. Like, so I don't know, like the audio, like the visuals, like I was like kind of whatever, but the audio of Aloft kind of gave me like Polybridge vibes. I was like, I don't know, that could be kind of fun.
Yeah, no, I see it. Okay, it sort of is like this is good. This is a survival sandbox, but it's not going to be. It's like a chill out. It's a chill out survival sandbox. It's not a. It's not a Conan Exiles. You know, I don't even know. I was playing. I encountered one of those first, like, we've been talking about how Conan Exiles has like the hunt, or like, you know, these beasts that just come out at night. And I was playing last night and I didn't pay attention, and all of a sudden this like werewolf came out of nowhere and started hitting me. And I was like, I just started. Why is a werewolf attacking me? But it was also pretty easy to defeat, so you know, it wasn't that bad.
We don't have to necessarily do this on the stream, but I'm gonna put it in the host channel for you guys. This is the Polybridge trailer.
Okay.
Like it's just got the music like as well. It's like it's just click click click.
How's that go again?
Age of Conan, Greater Conan Exiles.
Age of Conan, Greater than Conan Exiles.
Okay.
Actually,
I don't agree.
Disagree.
However, I will say, was it like 2 years ago now? I did an Ages of Funcom like 24-hour stream for Extra Life, and I played Anarchy Online, Age of Conan, and Secret Legends. Right? Like I went through all of them. Well, actually, what I did was in Secret World, I went into Rogue Agent because that mission is repeatable in fucking Legends and wasn't in TSW, and I went to the portals for Age of Conan and the portals for Anarchy Online that are in that mission. And when I went in the portal, I would then close the game and launch the other game. I thought it was cool. Anyways,
it's a cool set.
I hadn't played Age of Conan or Anarchy Online actually prior to that. And Age of Conan is the one where after the stream, I got like a 4-hour nap or something because I'm a crazy person. And then I came back and I streamed more Age of Conan. Like I finished the initial city. Because like,
listen,
yeah, it's older. But like
I got stuck on Age of Conan last May, and like most of May of last year, I played the heck out of Age of Conan. Tortage it's beautiful. It's like one of my favorite starting areas of like almost any MMO. It's a great starting area.
Well, if I can't hear the music when you're playing that on the stream, you're not outputting the audio.
Well, you want to hear the audio?
So I'm not going to say that it's better than Conan Exiles. I'm going to say it is different than Conan Exiles. It is a different genre than Conan Exiles.
Okay, yeah, go listen. Even when they break, it's chill. play this shit for hours. Every level has its own track.
It's like it would be a vibe went high or something. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, Age of Conan was ahead of its time. It was like. Because when did that come out? When did Age of Conan launch?
Oh, I will say I captured a screenshot of this somewhere. Yeah, we're getting audio. I captured a screenshot of something from Age of Conan. I think I put it. Did I put it in? I want to say I put it in this channel before, somewhere.
2008.
It was like
Age of Conan released 2008.
Age of Conan has the best explanation of what the fuck your shit on the screen is I have ever seen.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I did. Here, I'll copy it and post it again, so you don't have to go find it. This. When I hit whatever key it is to bring this up in Age of Conan, I was like, "Holy fuck! Why don't they do this for their for Secret World, for example? Or why don't other games still do shit like this?"
Mm-hmm. Yeah, your health, your target's health, your location.
The way it explains how the mechanic works of the shield.
That's
location,
your quest journal. Yeah.
It's gonna hit you from these areas, right? It's gonna hit hit unprotected area. As soon as I saw this, a bunch of shit clicked and made way more sense, and I was like, why the fuck doesn't the game just show you this initially? Because I don't remember seeing it when the game launched. You had to hit the button to find the shit. This is I didn't find this until I don't know, an hour or a couple hours in or something. I was looking for something and I brought this up by accident. I was like, what the fuck? This is amazing.
I'll say they released it in 2008, and what else was released in 2008? Fallout 3, Grand Theft Auto 4. Trying to think of what other games came out around that time period that it's yeah, there was a lot of really cool stuff in it. That it's
Wrath
wow.
of the Lich King?
Was Wrath 2008? Okay.
I'm assuming that's what that means.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's if you compare it to games like that came out around that time period. I mean, I don't know if Wrath necessarily counts because it was an expansion. And so it still had to have the mechanics of the original WoW from 2003. But yeah, it was good. It was good. I really enjoyed playing Age of Conan.
Yeah, when I initially played it years and years ago, I didn't get it off Starter Beach. I was like, what the fuck is this? And I uninstalled it. And that was when I was playing TSW, by the way. I was playing TSW. So I was full on all right, cool, let me check out this other thing from Funcom. I got on the beach and was like, this feels, even at the time, I was like, this feels old to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I never found that screen with how the controls worked. And I was like, this feels bad to me.
Warhammer, oh god.
So,
but even Tortage has a night version. Tortage has there was a day version of Tortage and then a night version of Tortage, and I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, so when I went back and did the Ages of Funcom stream and I played it, Age of Conan, I played what was I did a 8-hour block or something?
It was a long time. You were doing a 24-hour stream, yeah.
Yeah. So, but I mean, I broke up between the 3 games. So 24 divided by 3.
Mm-hmm.
It's 8, right?
You did, you did Anarchy, Secret World, and Age of Conan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think.
So I think it'd be
anymore.
But I came back after that stream. That stream ended in the afternoon or something, and I got some sleep. And that evening, I started up stream and streamed Age of Conan some more. So I wanted to finish the city. And I did. I finished the initial main city quest, and you finish the city, and then you sail off, and you can now go to the rest of the world or some shit. I didn't get past that, but I did go finish the city. That storyline was really good.
It was really good. Yeah.
I got way better at the combat in that time frame. The executions are cool. Which they brought back in Exiles eventually. They brought back the executions in Exiles Conan Exiles finally.
Yeah.
I did like the fact that when they were doing Exiles, I don't know if they still do it, but when they were first few years of Exiles, they did something where they were like, I think both
fatality
pulling shit from Age of Conan into Exiles, but then they also pushed Exiles shit down into
Age of Conan.
Age of Conan. Like I think Age of Conan got an update of some kind that let it get. They had like a pipeline for getting stuff, like cosmetics or something between the two games. There was some crossover.
Makes sense.
They're called fatalities.
Babality. Why can't I turn them? Why can't I turn them into babies? Come on now.
Yeah, I think I remember that dev stream, Bomber. Yeah, I mean it's also like why you see like fucking Secret World locusts in goddamn Exiles. It's the same. Like I remember,
and the bat creatures. They're in Conan Exiles too.
Yeah, like you're like, oh wait, well the locust though is like they didn't have to do anything to it. It's the same. Like I was like, oh my god, I recognize
it's the same
you.
Locust, right?
You're exactly the same. They have changed literally nothing.
One of the deities in Conan Exile uses hell as a base. Oh, like Durketo. Yeah, I see it.
That's funny.
I mean, but yeah, they've got the assets. They made the assets.
Which is another reason that we're more of like a Funcom podcast than just a Secret World podcast. Because well, honestly, because even Secret World stole assets and people from Age of Conan. Like Scriv originally wrote for Age of Conan before being told to write the buzzing for Secret World.
Which is just a good reason to play Age of Conan too, is if you enjoy Scriv's writing in Secret World, you would probably enjoy it in Conan Exiles. Yeah.
He wrote for he wrote for Moons of Madness.
Yep.
And he was writing for Dune. Outside of Funcom, he got hired to write some for New World. You can
New World,
see a little bit there. Yeah, we have Elite, obviously. I mean, I'd be surprised if he didn't write anything for the park.
I was looking around me like, we got Elite. Where's
Elite? Park? I know he wrote for
Hide and Seek. The boat.
So the park was the Oslo team's Unreal Engine
test
game. And Hide and Shriek was the Raleigh, the U.S. operations like get used to Unreal Engine testing. But yeah, I'd be surprised if Scriv didn't write on the park. Like he's like the main writer in Funcom at the time.
Probably, I know he did.
The lore pages in Hide and Shriek, 100%.
Yeah, I was gonna say I know he did Hide and Shriek.
Park gives you 3 OB talismans in CSW. The park is a fucking crazy ass story.
Was it the hunter's axe? Was it the axe? The axe talisman?
The woodcutter's axe.
Yeah.
Woodcutter's axe.
That thing was okay. It's true.
Well, also we don't have this in Legends, but it's also not running in TSW, so it doesn't matter. But the Seven Silences Halloween mission in TSW was a continuation of the park. So the park ends, and then that story picks up with Seven Silences. Doesn't list Park on his website as credit. Yeah, I mean I don't know. Maybe it's like I said. The park was an Oslo project, so maybe
he may not have. Yeah,
maybe he didn't. Like I said, so he did the Hide and Shriek one because it was the U.S. branch.
Yeah, it was the Carolina branch.
So it is the park. It is the park. It's the park in Savage Coast. It's Nathaniel Winter's park.
Mm-hmm. It's the same place.
What the park is. It's just a standalone game. And it ties into the lore. Like there's lore, like the lore in the park, like has the boogeyman. So I guess technically spoilers. I don't know at this point. Like that's on you. It's been out for fucking ever.
Again.
Yeah. The park literally has the cardboard cutouts from the Albion Theater in TSW.
It does. Yeah. I was saying it's got the boogeyman, and it's the same. It's basically the same boogeyman that you see.
Boogeyman, in both games. Chad. We got the costume in TSW, if you recall. the Chad the squirrel, or not squirrel, the chipmunk killer costume.
Chipmunk, yeah.
Right. But he's also mentioned in TSW, like in the lore of the park in Nathaniel Winter, like it talks about someone in the costume like butchering people. Then he's like a main. So yes, the park is a Secret World story. It's not like it's not part of the fabric of Secret World. It is. And also the same with Moons of Madness, by the way. Moons of Madness is set 50 years out. But Moons of Madness is a Secret World game. Like, it is in the Secret World universe. It is directly connected to Secret World. Just plus 50 years. So for some reason you haven't played Moons of Madness and you like Secret World and you like the story and the lore, like, you will find shit in Moons of Madness that only makes sense if you have played Secret World. If you haven't played Secret World, Moons of Madness is an awesome, like, space Cthulhu horror game for what it is. But if you've played Secret World, it is like twice the game.
It is mind blowing. Yeah,
it is amazing. In similar sense, like the park is a different way to experience that section of Secret World, basically. And it's got a lot of buzzing lore. Like the buzzing in the park is actually fucking kind of. I think it's one of the more visceral interactions you can have with the buzzing is playing the park.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you're like walking through and interacting with the objects, and you realize that like the buzzing's trying to speak, and like they can't quite get interpreted correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Like that shit is, yeah, it's very haunting. My wife likes to watch. I think it's like Outside Xbox or something. YouTube. And I think they were playing the park, and they're just like, fucking goofing off, talking shit, right? They didn't really get what's going on. They weren't really reading everything and paying attention to all the not so subtle hints that shit's really fucked up. And they were just laughing and poking fun at shit, literally up until the end, which means they really weren't reading anything, because the shit you read gets pretty fucked up if you're bothering to read it. But then they get to the end, and then the end happens, and they're like, what the fuck? They were literally laughing like 2 seconds ago, and then the end of the park happens, and they're just like, what the fuck just happened? No, wait, what? Like, they were a comedy trio right up until the end, and they all just, like, collectively went, what the fuck? And, like, kind of lost their shit.
Yeah, because we kind of knew, like, if you went into the park as a Secret World player, you were like, yeah, it's not going to turn out well. It's not a happy story. This is not a story that is gonna end nicely.
Yeah. And it's not. And it doesn't.
It's not, and it doesn't. And yeah.
It is amazingly beautifully.
It is a literal descent into madness. Yeah. It is
a horrifyingly fucked up thing. Which is why it hit them even harder, because they were acting like the Three Stooges up until that scene happened at the end. And they just were like, oh, wait, what? No, what? No. And then they're like, it's like, yeah, maybe you should have been paying attention to the game as you were playing it. I don't know, just a little bit, because it's not like there's not fucking hints
everywhere.
Everywhere, and it gets progressively worse. Like, you have to progress towards the end. You have to progress to the same room like multiple times, and it gets progressively more fucked up.
Yeah, that's why I said the literal descent into madness is right when you hit that spiral, and it's just the downward spiral, the literal downward spiral. Yeah.
No, it's amazingly well done though.
Yeah.
Fan like lifetime fan of Secret World and its adjacent properties.
Which is why I always sort of like, in my, like, I don't. Are they going to come back and put more effort into Secret World Legends? I'm not sure. As a choice, is that even a good choice for them even to make at this point? I'm not sure. But they own the property. Getting more Secret World games, like they said, like, a continuation of the story. I'm not sure that we will see a continuation of the story in Secret World Legends, but that's not to say that we won't see a continuation of the story in another game outside of Secret World Legends. In like a not Secret World 2, but basically a Secret World 2. Like, I could see them definitely continuing the story, but just not in the same game.
I mean, here, like I know you're stuck on the classic or whatever, but like the thing about Legends is it's easier one to get people to try it because it's fucking free.
Mm-hmm.
Also, in TSW, you have to buy the additional story. You have to buy the additional content, right? No, I understand. I understand what you're saying. I'm trying to make a distinction that like that Legends is a lot easier to get someone to try because it's fucking free, and all the story is free. Like you don't have to buy a DLC to play a certain mission. That's all fucking there. So as far as like that experience, I always recommend Secret World to people because like, hey man, you can play it fucking solo and you'll get like 100, 200 plus hours out of it, even if you're just doing the story. And then you will have at least experienced the story.
And it is a good story. It
right?
ruins
like
you for a whole bunch of other games.
That's why I say to people is like, look, man, you don't gotta fucking be you don't gotta be a grind dude. You don't gotta spend 1,000 hours getting to max level. You know what I mean? If you just play the game to experience a story, even if you just do it by yourself as a single player game, I don't think you would regret it. If that's what you went into it doing is like, trust me, the writing's amazing. Every mission has a fucking mocap voice acted cinematic that's not fucking like, you know, that's actually real. Like it's I don't know, it's not patronizing, right? They don't write down. The shit is well done. Even with its age, like it's well done. It's done better than a lot of cinematics, or assuming you even get them. A lot of games don't even have cinematics or mocap or anything for their fucking missions. Just some text on the screen. So like, I mean, there's that. Also, I will say this: I see new people in Legends all the time, and maybe they're just trying it out and they're fucking off once they're done with the story. I'm okay with that, to be perfectly honest. Like as long as
play
people,
it like a single player,
as long as people like experience the story and like get it out there, like in Unreal 5. I mean, Dune is. I mean, this way, they're using Unreal for Dune. It's Funcom. Like, they could at some point make a Secret World game with Unreal because all their games have been Unreal since they made like the Park and Hide and Streak. So, like, it's not out of the realm of possibility that at some point they could make a Secret World game in Unreal. I would be surprised if they like, you know, relaunched it again as like Secret World, you know, whatever different adjective.
That's what I'm saying. They won't. It's too long. The game is set in 2012.
I don't know, right? Just put the Legends in front, call it good. Like,
yeah,
but they could. I would be more inclined to think it would be a different type of game, but still like a Secret World like universe game in Unreal.
Right? Like, would it be an MMO?
I don't know, dude. I would be down for it. Look. They seem to have found their niche with like survival shit. Give me a survival Secret World game.
I would say, would it be a Secret World survival game? Would it be like a survival exploration Secret World game? Like in a...
Can you
imagine if that's what Tokyo was? Was basically Tokyo was like a survival, like in a destroyed city sort of
carve out your base, build your shit out of like concrete rubble, right? Fight off filth monsters.
Yeah.
I don't know, like they could do a survival Secret World game. Like you do a survival game out of fucking anything. You got Kingsmith, you got the whole zombie thing, right? Like you could put it this way: Once Human, there's a big reason that in the betas for Once Human and even in the live game, a lot of people Once Human are like, I get Secret World vibes from this.
Yeah, totally.
Right? There's a big reason that like people I'd never fucking heard of, like I didn't bring it up. I'm sitting there in beta in chat and random people are like, dude, I get Secret World vibes off this. Yeah, I do too. You see it like in the fucking YouTube comments. Like, Once Human is a survival fucking crafting looter shooter style game with fucking.
But because it has like horror elements and it's like technology mixing with humans and in this like
multiversal kind of shit. Like they in a very Orochi like
in a very Orochi like bad guy. Like, you could totally throw in the dreaming ones in there, and they'll
deviations
be like,
corrupt things. Like, I don't know, man. There's so many things that feel similar. Like, and I would say like the writing of the dialogue, I think, is suffering from translation stuff. Like the dialogue specifically, or
I've
maybe
heard
it's just
that,
the
yeah.
style of how they like to do dialogue interactions in like a Chinese game or something. But like the actual written lore that you collect in the game is actually really good. Like getting through some of the narrative that's spoken can be,
It's a little rough,
to
yeah.
me, can feel a little off-putting, right? I don't
Mhm.
think I'm the target audience for that. But that said, the lore that you actually collect, that you read, is really good. Like, there's a really good story there. So, like,
Mhm.
if that can work and can pop off, there's no reason a Secret World version of that couldn't pop off, right?
Yeah,
Where
modern
you have this
modern,
world that's filth, and you have this
um
corporation, and you have abilities. You're a special dude with abilities, like you.
modern
And you,
existential horror. Yeah. It's a fun genre.
it's also really, really niche. And but Once Human is an example that can pop off.
Mhm.
So I feel like it hasn't really. Things that are more like modern era just don't seem to pop. Like medieval stuff does well, like high fantasy
Mhm.
stuff does well, and like future shit does well. And
Mhm.
modern setting stuff in this kind of space just generally hasn't. But I
It
think
could be like
Once
a
Human actually is kind of proving that like
I feel like it
it
might be like an
can work.
uncanny valley thing where people are like, or maybe I'm just talking to my butt, but like it could be like a um like people are like, I live in the modern world. Why do I want a game in the modern world? Sort of effect that sort of like
Yeah.
uh but to me, I find that fascinating. I find because I've also played a lot of Division 2. And that series is basically about, a basically a variant of smallpox basically wiping out society.
Yeah.
And um basically a secret government agency needing to which is run by basically the individuals themselves and a controlling AI, basically help to rebuild society effectively. And it's like their environments are excellent, and it's all modern. It's all in the modern setting. It's
Do you remember the game that came out like before Once Human that like ended up being like a scam? It was supposed to be like the next big like survival like kind of shooter thing. And like all the streamers
mm,
were on it. Like they sold a bunch, and then it was complete fucking like unplayable garbage. And I think the company ended up going under. Like they refunded everybody. You remember what that was?
no, off the top of my
Remember
head,
that?
no. Feels like I should though.
It was. I'm pretty sure we talked about it maybe at the time. It's been a little bit. Um,
Maybe.
Let me see if I can just
Oh,
go
was
into
it was
survival
it
games scam.
was it Redfall?
The day before. The
Oh,
day
day
before.
before.
The day before was like just like. But the thing was, it was modern time kind of like I think they're supposed to be like zombies or something, like looter shooter, like all this stuff, and
Mhm.
like they had everyone on board, like all the big streamers like fucking got on that shit, and then it just was complete fucking garbage. Like, and literally, I think they ended up having to refund everybody, and I think the company eventually went under or something. Like,
Hmm.
it was a massive fucking flop. And all of a sudden, there was Once Human had been in like a beta that you could just sign up to be in. Like, it wasn't locked; you didn't need a key, right? But all
Okay.
these people had nowhere to go, and all of a sudden, there's this other game that's like looter shooter zombie, but actually kind of looks good and doesn't look like they're gonna get scammed, and they could try it for free. And they exploded, and they had to turn off the open beta and make it key related because their servers couldn't handle the number of people. Because all the
Okay.
people that were all on that hype train for the day before all of a sudden had this itch to play something similar and nowhere to fucking go. And I genuinely think if that hadn't happened, Once Human would not have, I'm not saying it wouldn't have been a good game or wouldn't have done well, but I think
Okay.
that literally catapulted them from like this game in beta that like people were testing, but was nowhere near capacity, to something where like they had to fucking lock their systems down and start giving out keys because their servers couldn't handle the number of people signing up to test. Like, if it wasn't for that other company fucking everybody, I don't think this would have happened.
So yeah, I just brought up the Wikipedia for it.
You need the right moment to pop off, even if the thing's good. And I think that's partly what Secret World suffered from, is like when they launched, it was like the worst possible fucking it was the opposite of that. It was the worst possible timing. You know, everything was against them. Once Human got a fucking like literal massive
like
boost from everyone out there, basically for free, right? Like everyone else had plans to do this other game that fucking fell apart.
Like, like this paragraph right here. For the day before, it says the game's lengthy development led to questions of its legitimacy, and it drew early criticism for its perceived status as a scam. The development was marred by legal disputes involving Fantastic, as well as accusations of plagiarism and soliciting unpaid labor. Fantastic denied accusations of scamming and plagiarism. Former Fantastic developers later accused the studio's founders of severe mismanagement. Upon release, the day before was panned by critics for its technical issues and lack of creativity. 4 days later, it was removed from sale, with its servers remaining open until the following month, and Fantastic was closed due to its poor sales performance.
Yeah, I believe Steam refunded everybody. It was like an auto refund. Like they just like, here's all your money back. This thing is a pile of shit.
4 days it lasted. IGN gave it a 1 out of 10.
All those fucking people that were on the hype train for that, and like, given some of the people involved, that there had to have been like, you know, we're gonna pay you to stream our game kind of shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
All those people all of a sudden had like nowhere to go, but they tried the thing and they're like, I like this idea, but this was fucking garbage. Like, I've seen clips of people playing it. It was awful. Not like a little bad. It was really bad.
Wow. And it says, what is this? Early access. It released in early access on December 7th, 2023. So yeah, not that long ago.
And then everyone went from there to like, hey, there's this Once Human beta that's open and free, and like it looks kind of similar, but actually looks like it doesn't have, you know, engine problems, and they didn't fucking steal all their shit from somewhere, and your bullets actually hit where they're supposed to go. The animations work, you know what I mean? Like that other game didn't have basic things functioning like at all. And so people are like, oh, let's try this, and they all hopped on it, and yeah, Once Human fucking exploded off of that. Like I said, I think Once Human is a great game. I think it would have been a good game regardless, but I don't think it would have popped like it did if Day Before hadn't like set the scene.
Just completely shit the bed. Yeah.
But to that point, though, I think Once Human is proving that you can do this genre in that space, and like it can be good. You don't have to do fantasy. You don't have to do fucking you know, super far like sci-fi Star Trek, you know, future stuff. You can do more like what looks like classic modern setting with like, you know, dystopian and weird like outer gods sort of lore shit, and people will do that. And I don't think there'd been a really good case of that actually. Like, one of those things like movie like studios won't bite on something until it's a proven success. Like, no one goes to see that. Well, they would if you fucking made it right.
They're like, because they don't want to put in the risk. There's too much risk there.
Like, we know westerns will do X. We know like this will do X. But this genre, why not so much, man? We're staying away from that. That's indie film territory. So
that's why we just had like how many you know, superhero movies for the past who knows how long,
over a decade.
Well, that's just because we've finally been able to do them correctly.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
They've never done superhero movies before. They just didn't do them right. One, because they didn't have the effects level, I think, to properly do them. But two, because they also just didn't have people in charge that knew why they worked.
True.
They just thought, oh, they're big and they're strong and we put makeup on them. But also because the worst writing ever. You know what I mean? Like,
I'll say, but also because they weren't a risk. They were basically like, we'll put out this movie and it will make money. Like, there's no doubt that we put out
for the
another
first
one.
Iron Man. That was a big risk for for them.
Yeah, but I'm saying that
the
you got
initial
Marvel
ones were
Studios
everyone
doing.
thereafter was not
You got
not
Marvel
really a
Studios
risk.
actually having people that understand like why comics sell, and it's not just the flashy character and the super; it's the story.
No,
Like
it's a
you
story.
can't
Yeah,
just like it's got to be well written, and it like prior to that, a lot of super movies are just not well done.
no.
Like like maybe that action scene was cool or whatever, but the story is kind of fucking thin.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, to me, that's the biggest difference. Is that
it's not just right. It's not just the costumes. It's not just the effects. It's the story. It's the story.
yeah.
It's why people go and do these things. It's the story. The story's great.
Yeah, and they just weren't getting that. They didn't understand that like, the reason these things work is the writing,
Yeah.
right? What carries a comic like a flashy cover will sell, but the only reason people come back and buy that comic week in and week out is not the cover.
Yeah. It's not the
Right? It's
cover.
the
It's not even
writing.
the artwork. The artwork could be good, but it's not even the
Yeah.
artwork. Right.
The writing sells it. And that like a fundamental like, investor misunderstanding is, "Oh, flashy cape good." Like, "No, man. Why is he wearing the cape? How did it get to be there? What drives him?" Like, though, like, you gotta like. There's just a massive misunderstanding, and then like Marvel Studios is like, "No, we know why our shit works.
Mm-hmm.
We're Marvel. We make these, we sell them. We know actually what drives the sales, so we can world build and we can do this." And like whether you like some of them or don't like some of them, like they definitely prove like this is how you do it.
And the more that they do, of course, there's going to be some that you don't like. Of course, there's going to be some that are better than others.
Yeah,
Of
not
course, there's
everyone
going to
likes
be
every comic that's put out either, but that doesn't mean that
right.
the process is not good.
But that just happens when you put out so much stuff that you're going to get like people are going to be like, oh, this one's so much better than this one. This one's so much better than this one. This one is better comparatively here. This one is
Well, I
better
also
for
feel like
this, that. It's like, yeah, that happens. That's a good thing. Like the more that they put out, the more diversity you're going to get.
Most of the bigger misses weren't even like they were. I mean, some people might argue this, but I feel like most of the bigger misses are ones that are like Marvel Studios adjacent, where like they're on it, but that it's not them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like the Venom movie is like in association with Marvel Studios, but it doesn't have the big Marvel Studios thing when it starts. Like it's not Marvel Studios. It's in association with. They have like permission from or whatever, but like, and you can like the movie or not like the movie. That's not neither here nor there. I'm just saying like there's movies that are tagged as Marvel movies that aren't actually the studio movies.
Right.
Because I gotta say, I'm pretty sure I like pretty much all the actual Marvel Studios movies. Honestly, I like most of the other ones too. I'm pretty easy to please though, in that regard. Mostly because I'm not expecting like.
You're not expecting.
I'm not always expecting the best. Like
Citizen Kane.
Okay, come on.
You do go in with certain expectations. Yeah.
Who doesn't like Morbin time? Come on.
Yeah.
like Morbius for what it was. Okay. Morbius was a really fun B movie, and we got a lot of good memes out of Morbius. Not everything has to be, an amazing cinematic masterpiece. Sometimes
it doesn't all have to be high art. I mean, that's why what Fast and the Furious is on like Fast and the Furious like 15 or something. Like people don't go into Fast and Furious and go, yeah, this is going to be high art. They go, no, there's going to be there's going to be cars. They're going to go fast. There's going to be Dude,
I literally just watched an Onion short like last night with like their fake news team interviewing like a kid who's like the writer of Fast and Furious Fast 5, and it's like this fucking like 6-year-old. It's like, and then the car smash, and then the car goes through a train, and then this happens, and it shows like his crayon writing on paper like he's the writer of Fast 5. It was fucking hilarious.
Be like, yeah, there's they hit on that formula and it works.
That checks out. I believe he wrote that movie.
Yeah. It's like, what is it? It's I saw that recent argument before when it came to like romance movies, and people are like, well, romance movies aren't that well written, and it's like, yeah, but you don't need it to be. Like you don't go into like a horror movie and expect it to be a sappy romance. Like, no, you get a romance movie and you expect a sappy romance. Like you expect the romance aspect. Yeah. Like, you go in with certain expectations, and when people say like, "Oh, but it wasn't a horror," and it's like, right, because it wasn't a horror.
Okay, yes, Vomer, you are correct. Princess Bride.
It is excellent. Yes,
fucking classic.
Yeah,
that is a bona fide, dyed in the wool classic. I've been watching that movie since I was, I don't know, like 6 or something, 7.
Yeah.
Back when dinosaurs roamed the earth, according to my child.
I don't know.
And who for some reason calls me an old pancake? I don't know why.
That's an interesting one. Okay.
Yeah, I'm still not really sure what that's about.
You old pancake.
I don't know if I'm old as a pancake. An old pancake.
You're like, is it a am I just is it just like is it a
yeah? I'm a pancake. Waffle's a waffle. I don't know what Ocho is.
Some sort of breakfast bread
pastry
of some kind. Would I be a bagel? Am I a bagel?
All right. Next podcast we'll have bagel, pancake, waffle.
All right. I think that's good for tonight.
Note.
On that note.
Bagel signing off.
Agents, this has been the 0 Point Report, strain 99-AFT, which means the next one's going to be 100. Holy crap.
Holy shit. That should be for Valentine's too, right?
It'll be for Valentine's Day. We'll have to, sounds like a Rosenbrawl event to me. We should schedule it
for the Valentine's event.
Yeah.
Like somewhere in there, I think. So our 100th is actually in Rosenbrawl.
Let's see.
Let's go.
What is the second Thursday? The 13th is the second Thursday. Oh, that'll be rough.
We can move it. It's the 100th.
That'll be rough.
We'll move it.
We can make it the 20th.
Yeah.
February 20th.
We'll just skip. We'll skip one.
I'll say 13 is rough because it could start on the 13th and it could not start on the 13th. We don't know.
I mean, we would know. We would know long before the show actually starts. We just wouldn't know ahead of time.
Right.
We'd know like Thursday morning, probably.
Yeah.
We definitely should save our 100th for when the event's active, so we can do Rosenbrawl. We can do our love match shit for the 100th. I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah, no, that sounds like good times. So yes, our next one is going to be strain 100, which it's considering the fact that we only basically do this once a month, it's a lot.
It's been a hot minute.
It's You can catch us recording live, generally the third Thursday night of the month. Maybe the first. Who knows? When we can, around 9 p.m. Eastern time, here on the 0 Point Report Twitch channel, where you can also join us and chat with us while we do the show live. Or download our show wherever podcasts are found so you can listen to us on the go. Jimmy, where can we find you online?
JimmyTheRabbit.com will take you to all my thingies.
Including your OnlyFans.
Don't touch them, they're mine.
And Waffle, where can we find you online?
You can find me at twotonewaffle.com. All my stuff is all there, spread out inside of my little container.
Very nice.
Gross.
Some people like it.
They like Waffle's container.
Yeah.
It's all spread out in your container. I don't appreciate the innuendos here.
I'm Ocho, and you can find me on Twitch, Blue Sky, Mastodon, all links at linktree/BigMikeyOcho. I haven't got around to making my own website yet. You can get in touch with us by engaging with the show on X, at 0 Point Report, or Blue Sky. We are on Blue Sky as well. What is our name on Blue Sky? Is it the 0 Point Report, or is it just 0 Point Report?
I believe it's the 0 Point Report.
The 0 Point Report .bluesky, or no, .bsky.social.
Yeah, if you just search the 0 Point Report, we'll come up.
We'll come up. Yeah, we're on there.
Blue Sky's pretty good that way, actually.
Yeah,
I agree. Blue Sky's just pretty good in general. Checking out previous shows on our YouTube channel and joining us on our Discord server, both named the 0 Point Report. So from all of us here at the 0 Point Report, we want to thank you for tuning in and wish you all the best from the secret world. Have a great night, everybody, and we'll catch you next time.
See you. Bye.
Bye, everybody.